Yo, let me tell you about the lore.
Hello all, and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 3 of Super Lore Boys, a Super Turbo podcast powered by the players for the players. I'll be your host, Riz1, aka Rhizone, one of the New York guys. And joining us this time, we have the Raging Demon, Damdai, aka Broly, aka Akuma Suck, Don't Ban. How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you? I'm
good, man. Thanks. It's been kind of took us a while to get to this point, but I'm glad we're finally here. And
yeah. two New York expatriates or whatever they call it. What do they call somebody who leaves a place?
Expats, right?
Expats? I think so.
We're expats. We're
all right.
But yeah, you got the reference to one of the New York guys, right?
Maybe. No, I didn't.
Damn it! I gotta do my own lore now. So it was at the first TOL, which was I guess like my first huge major, and it was Zas and James Chen on commentary like, oh, it's Rhizone, one of the New York guys, part of the Damdai crew. And then eventually James was like, I think it's Riz1. But anyway, firstly, congrats on your new home. How's it going?
Oh, thanks. It's going great. It's cool to be in a house for the first time. I'm a first-time homeowner. So that's exciting, being from apartments my whole life, more than double the space. I feel like I'm just in like my own city now, which is really cool. And for someone like me, who's a real homebody, it's extra cool. Yeah, we're really enjoying it. You know, my wife and I, my dad always warned me that moving into a house, you'll have like a lot more responsibilities and things to fix and stuff. And I'm feeling that immediately. So I'd like to apologize to the listeners if I'm sounding tired, low energy, nasally. Several factors have come together to make me very tired right now. So yeah, like today alone, well, partially it's your fault, Riz, because of the tournament on Friday finishing at 3 a.m. That totally fucked me up.
Big apple.
Yeah, I didn't get good sleep last night at all. And then when I woke up this morning, I've already had to repair a toilet, secure some hanging rods in my wife's closet, repair some car issue. So yeah, it's been crazy. Major adulting going on.
You got your tool belt on?
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, welcome to, I guess, adult life. And I hear you drinking something. So let me just go ahead and do my quick shill as well. It's going to be the...
refreshing.
Yummy Dr. Pepper. Alrighty. So let's start it off with the serious questions first. And you should have seen this coming.
Mm-hmm.
Why ST and not backgammon?
Oh my God, dude. I'm hit. Yeah, you got me again. I'm totally unprepared. Because it wasn't at my local pizzeria. Street Fighter 1. So if it had been backgammon, maybe things would be different.
All right, we'll get into the arcade story. First, let's just quickly look over your player cards. So right now, you're representing the North Carolina scene. Pre-COVID, were there events still going on nearby you? How often were you attending after New York?
Let's see. So we have one, I guess, venue here, you'd say. Lost Ark Video Games, which is primarily a video game store. They sell games and retro games and Gundam figures and stuff. It's a pretty cool place. And then in the back, they have like a full-blown arcade, a bunch of arcade cabinets, Dance Dance Revolution, the rhythm games and stuff. So that's where ST was played. They've had some pretty big events, like prize-wise, I guess, not really player-wise, because it's just America. Most scenes are tiny. But they had one of the first tournaments that I went to when I was out here was a $1,000 tournament. And there was like 8 people in the tournament. Jim Sejas was there. So that was pretty cool. But as far as frequency of play, it was like once every few months, I guess. Yeah, last time I was there before coronavirus, I'm not going to remember this even close, I think, but it was with Jim, so maybe we can get him on here to clarify. But it was probably like last, I don't know, November or some shit.
A little bit of foreshadowing. We're going to get Jim on here one of these days. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And your favorite game, pretty obvious, you got as Super Turbo, but is there any other game that's your current favorite?
Not really. I mean, that's the only one that's really like stuck with me since I was a kid, and not ST per se, because I didn't start playing ST until about 2007. But the Street Fighter that they had when I was a kid was Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, World Warrior, and I think CE. And then that was it. And then I stopped playing when I went to high school, about 13, 14. So other than that, there's been nothing. Like, no Mario, I never really cared for that. No Tetris. Yeah, I don't know. There was just like a big gap in video game playing from right when I became a teenager until let's see, if it was 2007, yeah, like 13 years ago, like 27 or so. So yeah, ST is the clear winner.
Man, it sounds like, after CE, there was just nothing else to fill the void. So,
yeah, you came close.
You just had to wait till the next best game to come out.
Yeah, that game ruined games for me.
Shout out to CE and ST and no other game in between. But
what a coincidence. I'm not, vouching for CE here, just to be clear.
We didn't script this, by the way, guys. This is real, true facts. Damdai says so himself. After CE, there was nothing else.
Make of that what you will.
All right. And then your likes. All right. So you got space and quantum mechanics. Speaking of CE, right?
Love
because that game is pretty deep like that. Tell us some facts, or your most interesting fact. What's the best fun fact we got?
Oh, man. There's so many as far as space is concerned. I mean, the universe is just so huge, obviously, and I don't think people really grasp the scale of things in the universe unless they're like into this sort of thing. There's so many just like amazing counterintuitive things that are happening under the surface that just no one even considers because it's not part of our macro reality, this stuff happening on the micro scale. But one of my favorite space facts is, this is going to be very simplified, but essentially, I love the relationship between space and time and how we move through it. So for example, you have space and you have time, and they are essentially, inversely proportional to each other. So the faster you move through one, the slower you move through the other. So and the fastest we can go is light speed. So as you approach light speed, you're moving faster through space. You're moving slower through time relative to local observers or whatever observers. I forget if it's local or something else. But yeah, stuff like that is really fascinating. So because we sit here not moving, I mean, we are moving because the planet's moving through space. I forget what the speed is, like 10,000 kilometers
that sounds right.
Something, whatever it is.
Per second or some shit, per minute.
Yeah. So, yeah. But if we were moving, faster, we would be moving slower through time. So I think that's really cool. And another one that's kind of related to that is the faster you move through space, space contracts. So, for example, if you extrapolate to the extreme, photons, even though we observe that they have a speed, which is like 180 something thousand kilometers a second, or miles per hour a second, I forget what it is. But to a photon, they are simultaneously everywhere at once. So like at the sun, it takes 8 minutes or something for a photon to reach us.
About 7.5, I think.
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. But to that photon, stop Googling. To that photon, it's always been here. It's really hard to wrap your head around. But basically, if you're moving light speed, all points in the universe compress into like one. It's crazy. It's totally mind-bending stuff. But the universe and quantum mechanics is full of that, and that's why I love it.
And that, my friends, will conclude today's episode of Damdai the Science Guy. We will see you on the... you ever watch Beakman's World or...
yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
Yeah.
But that's funny because when you kept saying space time and space and time, I'm thinking like, is that why you have good footsies? Like your spacing is good or your timing on uppercuts? And
yeah, it fits. Yeah,
and
in another reality, I think if I had taken education more seriously when I was a kid, I might have gone into this field. Yeah, I feel like that they make us go through this system when we're young, and a lot of us don't really care about it or see like the importance of education when we're younger. It's kind of a waste, like it was for me. But now that I'm older and I've actually identified my interests, I would like to start college or something now. I think we should kind of like flip the script on that, but that's another story.
The damn diaper stories. We going back to school, y'all, baby zone. But
yeah,
that actually, damn, we have so much in common because when I was growing up, like I remember the first thing I wanted to do, I was like, oh man, I want to be an astronaut. So if you guys ever want to like hack any of my accounts and it says, what's your dream job? It's astronaut.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here, dude. Same for me. That's so ridiculous. Jesus, dude. Yeah. So my dream jobs when I was a kid, archaeologist was one because I love dinosaurs, and astronaut was the other. But yeah, and all the secret questions, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it is astronaut. That's fucking crazy. What the hell?
Yeah, we have too much in common. We don't even know it yet. But I definitely love all that space stuff too. I can't say the facts, you know, how you do. Like, I can't just call it up in the moment. But when you're talking about it, some of the numbers do come back to me. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah,
I've just gone down so many YouTube rabbit holes of the space stuff. Read some books and things.
Yeah, like black holes or something we can talk about forever. But let's just save that maybe for another episode. And then your dislikes are shitty people and death. Yo, completely agreed.
Yeah, those are obvious. I don't think I have to explain those.
Yeah, so we don't have to get into that. I just wanted to mention cyberbullying is whack, so don't do it. Don't troll people online. That shit's not cool.
Yeah, that goes into the shitty people category.
Yeah, for sure. So... but anyhow, so let's just move on to your
and vegetables. I don't really like vegetables. I'm surprised I didn't put that on there. Okay.
Vegetables. Okay. All right.
Yeah, vegetables.
Moving on. Because they're
almost as bad as Akuma.
No, they're all on the same level. Shitty people, death, and vegetables. All right. So, all right. At the very beginning, before there was Damdai, there was Damn Diaper. Right. And he found Street Fighter. So tell us about how that happened. Where were you? When were you? Let's go.
So I grew up in New York City in a small sailing and fishing community, small island called City Island. Some of you from New York might know of the place. It's very unique and interesting and cool. If you haven't been there and you're in the area, I recommend checking it out. Even though I haven't been there in several years myself, I think it's still more or less the same. It's just kind of a place that's like stuck in time. There's no skyscrapers or anything. It's just like, I think the tallest building is maybe 4 stories or so, 3 floors. But that's where I grew up. Very cool place. Small community, like 1.25 miles long. There's one main avenue where the commercial stuff is. And then branching off from there is all of the living, the suburban residential, I guess, whatever you'd call it. At the end of each block, there's a beach. Very nice. And kids can just run around on the island and just like, it was just a big playground for us, which is not something that I think you experience if you grow up in a bigger city like Manhattan or whatever. So that was very cool. So we had 2 pizza places on the island, and one of them, when Street Fighter 1 came out, that was the first machine that they put in the place. And, you know, we were just totally like smitten by it. Even though the game is pretty whack by today's standards, it was revolutionary back then. And that was the beginning. That game was there for maybe a few months or a year. I don't remember. But when World Warrior came out, that game replaced Street Fighter 1 at the pizza place. And yeah, that was it. I was hooked.
Was it the Street Fighter 1 machine where you had to like punch it?
No.
Or it was the actual
No,
arcade?
it was not. I've never played on one of those. I've never even seen one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that was a failed experiment. I'm sure the recalls on those machines must have been like that didn't last long. They had to change the buttons right away.
Yeah, I wonder how much those go for. They're probably super rare now. But
Yeah, I wonder how many lawsuits from people just like breaking their knuckles by like missing the pad a little bit and stuff.
the origins of the Knuckle Dew story. But was it a competitive scene? Did you have like a group that you guys played World Warrior with?
Yeah, so a few of us the kids on the island would play it, but really I remember 3 or 4 of us taking it seriously. I guess particularly 3 of us, including myself, so me and 2 others. One of those others is in the FGC now, which is interesting. He is Nick Paldino of One Frame Link. If you guys are familiar, he provides stats and interesting data for fighting games, the more popular games, obviously, like Street Fighter V and stuff. But yeah, it was cool that we grew up on the island together and played Street Fighter together. And then we kind of fell out of touch when I left the island and went to high school. We didn't find each other again until I first got back into the scene. So I guess maybe back in 2008 or 9 or so. So that's pretty interesting how our paths like diverged and then reverged. What do you say there? I don't know. Converged.
Converged, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what was the question?
Just if you had like a
the
usual
competitive
crew
scene.
that you,
Yeah. And then there was one other kid named Joe 40 who I have not been able to find again. I tried to search him and stuff, but it's a pretty common name, I guess. And don't know what happened to him, but I remember it was the 3 of us that were pretty competitive. And Nick worked at the pizza place, and he was older than us by like maybe 3 years or so. So he was kind of like the older kid. And yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Good memories.
I just imagine that, like, if you remember at the end of The Sandlot where the narrator's just going over like what happened to all the other kids. And then there's that one kid where like we never heard from him again. That's Joe 40.
Yeah. It would be cool to know what happened. But yeah, I remember just like showing up to the pizza place like first thing in the morning before it opened, and like a few of us would be sitting on the stoop, and the owner would come and open it up for us, and it was really good times. Finding quarters in the couch or on the street was like the best thing ever.
Well, when they do the Damdai movie, who's gonna play you? I'm like picturing all this cinematically right now.
So it would have to be a kid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only kid actor that I know of right now is that Stranger Things kid, Wolf, or Finn Wolfhard. I think crazy name.
The one who's also in It. He was in
he's the go-to kid right now. Like he's in a lot of shit.
Actually, in It Chapter 1, there's a scene of him playing Street Fighter 1 at the arcade. I don't know if you remember. It's at the movie theater, and he's playing Street Fighter 1.
Oh, shit. And, yeah, I'm sure I remember that.
And then, like, one of his friends bumps into him. He goes, I should be beating you up like I'm beating up this guy in the game right now. And it's like, it just shows where you do know how to do it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but looks-wise, probably if they dressed 11 as a boy, we'd probably be more similar.
Oversized flannel shirts or something. Whatever.
Just the facial features.
Yeah. Or they get a CGI you. Anyway, I'm going too far into this this movie scene. Were there any like big tournaments happening, or small tournaments, I guess, back then?
No, there was one, but it wasn't a 1v1 tournament. It was a high score tournament, and the prize was a free pizza. And I remember winning that, and that might be like that definitely is the first thing that I ever won as far as fighting games goes. And it's it's interesting that happened like 20 years before anything, even more than 20 years. Damn, like 25 years.
Damn, you enjoyed a slice of life back then, and you've earned so much more over the years that we'll definitely get into.
Yeah, but that pizza with appreciation would probably be worth like $1,000 today.
That's some high stakes, man.
Yeah,
if it was a steakhouse, instead of a pizza place.
Oh,
but
damn.
anyway, Yeah, the meta's too real right now.
Yeah, if there was like marijuana infused steak, and you call it high stakes.
High stakes.
Dude, that's dope.
Damn, keep the ideas coming. But anyhow, so a couple years later, there was CE, and after that there was a gap until you got back into the scene. So during that time, I imagine, you're going to school and real life stuff or growing up. So is there anything relevant to Street Fighter in that time that you want to share?
Yeah, not really. I mean, like I said before, there wasn't much gaming at all until 2007. I mean, here and there, like I knew a guy that had, I think it was a hyper fighting machine that we would play on. Like we would play on that every once in a while. That was like in my late 20s, mid-late 20s, I guess. But yeah, nothing really like, nothing substantial.
So you mean America's best fighting game, hyper fighting, couldn't bring you back into the fold? Is that what you're saying?
I guess I didn't know about the competitive scene at the time. It wasn't really like a thing. I didn't have an arcade stick or anything, so I couldn't play at home. There was no good home port. No good online, obviously, until GGPO came around. So yeah, the only time I could experience it was when I was at his house, which wasn't that often.
All right. So when did you learn about the scene and get equipped with all the goods and all that stuff?
So I discovered emulation maybe around 2006 or early 2007. And in doing so, I started to think about all the old games that I played as a kid. And obviously, Street Fighter was up there. So downloaded the ROM for that. And, obviously I wanted to play with the arcade controls because that's what I did as a kid. Hap controls, convex buttons. P360 stick, I believe. But that's what I was used to. So I wanted to recreate that experience. I found a stick maker in New Jersey, which was relatively close to me being in New York, called Slick Stick. They're out of business now, but they made pretty good sticks back in the day. So I contacted them about buying a stick. There was like a huge wait time, like several months. So I was kind of bummed about that. But then I got a call back like a few days later telling me that somebody had ordered one and canceled. And if I wanted it, I can go there and pick it up that day. So I did. I drove there. I drove there that evening after the store closed, met the owner, went inside. He had a machine there. I think they also built full cabinets. He had the machine there and Street Fighter was on it. And I was like, oh, damn, you play Street Fighter? It's like, I love that game. And he was like, yeah, man, you play? I was like, yeah. He was like, let's go. So we go on the cab and we're playing and stuff. And he started telling me about SRK, Shoryuken.com, Evo, all these things that I had no idea existed. And that was it, really. I went home, I got my stick, started browsing around the SRK forums, looked for local gatherings, and there was a tournament at University Pinball in Philadelphia. So I called up one of my childhood friends who played with me on City Island, got him to come with me. We went out there, and that was my first tournament. I met Bill Gould. NoHoHo was there. It was him and Bill in grand finals. Bill won on LeBlanca. That was the beginning.
Damn, shout outs to Bill, man. He's still out there and going to his local tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, he's been there since the very beginning. He might be our oldest relic or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, that dude's probably got stories for years, decades of stories, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's been there since the beginning.
Do you remember your feeling at the first tournament? Did you have nerves? Were you just excited? What did it feel like?
Oh God, I'm not sure if I'm going to remember this. I don't think that there was many nerves because I was just I was nothing. There was no expectation or anything. There was definitely surprise because I thought I was good being, I like to think I was the best in our trio back in the day. But obviously that was like our worst player today, level wise. So yeah, you know, having my ego checked or whatever at that moment was pretty surprising. And characters that I thought like were low tier, like Honda and Blanca winning the tournaments, I was like, damn, I think I used Ryu in that tournament. And I got bodied.
I feel like I might have seen those games. Are they on YouTube?
I doubt it. I
just
doubt it.
remember,
That'd be crazy. If they are, let me know, because I'd love to see that again.
I remember early footage of you playing Ryu doing like jump jab because it stays out in the air the whole time, and then try to confirm to low forward fireball.
Wow, that is way back in the day. That I think the last time I did that was at University Pinball. So that that might be something. Send me that link.
Yeah, I gotta find it. It's just my brain was processing the information. I'm like, hold up, this shit exists somewhere.
That's crazy. Dude, you're an idiot savant as far as like videos go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Or maybe just a savant. I didn't mean to put the idiot part in there.
We can edit that part out. Nah, well, this is raw and uncut. But and then that tournament, is that where you met like NoHo and became friends with him for the first time? And
yeah, I'm not sure why I connected with him first. I think this is what happened. He was living in New York at the time, and I had to drive back that way. So I offered him a ride. And so we got to know each other in the car ride back.
Damn, that's so... You're so friendly, dude. Do you imagine you would do that now? Like,
I was hella friendly back then. I'm even friendly now. I think a lot of people will say that, when they first meet me, I'm pretty friendly.
No, but I mean, as society goes, do you think people would offer a ride from Philadelphia to New York to someone they don't know now? Well, not now. Let's say pre-COVID, like 2019, like 2018, 2019.
I think so. I like to think so. Yeah. If I had just gotten into the scene and, fresh face and wide eyes and yeah.
Damn.
I don't see why not.
Shout out to you. I was with a friend. For the kind heart. Oh, okay. Yeah, you had your bodyguards.
Yeah. So I was with somebody. So it's not like we would have that awkward, stranger drive back. And we had the passion, so we could talk about Street Fighter on the way back.
That's true too. But Noah had an aura about him that, you magnetized him and want to talk about stuff for chill, and he could make conversation about anything actually. Dude is super. He was super down to earth. So yeah, my first tournament as well, at the end of the tournament, he was the one who I was just hanging out with, and we just played long sets talking about Street Fighter, and he was the one that really had me pursue attending more events and stuff like that. I mean, he was my spirit guide, I guess you would say. He got me up to speed quickly. He had, all the Japanese tech and stuff. I think he's the only one that knew about old Ryu and old Ken on Blockable Tatsu. So you can thank him for that. Yeah. I mean, without him, I don't know where I'd be or, how good I would have gotten. Yeah, I definitely want to, touch on that subject. Maybe in a bit later on. Let's go continue through your tournament, I guess, history. So that was the first of many pinball Philadelphia tournaments. At which point were you starting to level up?
Let's think here. All right, so I remember it was pretty quick. I think Fred saw my potential. He saw my potential pretty quickly. I ended up using Zangief very quickly. I don't remember when. Maybe it was immediately after that first University Pinball tournament, and I'm not sure why. I think I had so I couldn't do SPD when I was a kid. That always was too hard. So that I thought the character was just stupid and never tried it. But when I was older, I actually figured out how to do it, and it was very satisfying accomplishment. So I think that's why I started using Geef. And I remember Fred, when we would go to tournaments back then, I don't know if it was Xanadu or I think it was maybe C3 or I kind of forget the name. I think it was one of those in Virginia, Maryland area. And I remember him like finding people like, hey, play this kid, and like that type of thing. So I think it was pretty early on that I got a solid grasp of the game, and maybe people didn't have Zangief experience. The first standout, like the first breakout tournament I remember was at Nickel City in, oh shit, where the hell was it? Midwest somewhere. Damn, I don't remember if it was Ohio or something like that. I don't know. Somebody will know that.
Was it MWC, Midwest Championships?
Yeah, MWC. That's right.
So that should have been in
Chicago,
Tennessee, right?
No. I think that's Chicago. It moved to Tennessee later. Yeah,
okay,
definitely Chicago.
MWC. There we go.
Yeah. So I went there with Fred. We flew there. I think that was the first tournament I ever flew to. I actually had to cancel attending a friend's wedding because they were both booked at the same time, and I had already booked my plane ticket, and I didn't realize that they were the same weekend. And I was like, damn, I don't know. That was probably like asshole of me to choose this over a friend's wedding, but I fucking hate weddings anyway, so fuck it. But I'm glad that I did go, because at this tournament was Seth Killian, NKI, Darkside Phil, Jason Wilson, Wes Trulson, Jesse Howard. Rest in peace to Wes, by the way. He died pretty recently, kind of tragic, or very tragic. But yeah, I met all of these people there. Yeah, Tech Monkey was there. That
means David was there too, right? David
it was
Doyle?
Stacked. David was not there. I don't think David was there. But yeah, that tournament was crazy. Oh, John Rambo was there. Wait, was John Rambo there? I'm not sure if John was there, but that tournament was very stacked, and it started with an East versus West tournament. All of the people on the East side was, me, Tech Monkey, No whoever else was there, I forget. And then the Midwest was NKI, Wes, Jesse, Dream TR, Jason Wilson. I forgot if I named him. He ran the tournament. So all of these, top tier players back in the day. And I think Tech Monkey went first, and he beat a few players, and then he loses to, when the top players start coming out, he loses to them. So remaining on the West Coast team is Wes, Jesse, NKI, Jason Wilson. I don't remember if I'm missing anybody, but I end up going after Tech Monkey, and nobody knows who I am. And I jump on there with Zangief, and I end up beating all of these top players with Zangief. And I remember Seth introducing himself to me, who are you? Nick, NKI, same thing. So I was able to form this relationship with all of these guys very early on because of the respect for my performance. So I was very fortunate that worked out, because a lot of the games were super fucking close. One hit away, I should have lost and things. Very exciting. I sometimes go back and watch them every few months just because it's fun to reminisce and relive that moment. But yeah, that was my my breakout performance, I guess. I ended up getting third in the singles tournament. I lost to Fred. Wow. Yeah, I lost to Fred, and I think Jesse Howard got me in the run back because I beat him in the team tournament. The team was 2 out of 3, by the way, every set. So it wasn't like the one and done. I was getting lucky. And Fred and Jesse got 1 and 2. So Fred won that tournament with Blanca, which is pretty hype.
Yeah, I mean, by today's standards, to have that caliber of play together, that was like a TOL level, right? Because everyone was good in that time. Those are the best players basically at that time, minus maybe Choi, Vi, the other Cali players. That was super high caliber for you to be able to, match with them with Zangief. And I'm thinking back, I feel like you're beating NKI with low jab on the spinning bird kick and then safe jump SPD.
Yeah,
at that time, no one knew.
I don't know how I knew this shit. I watch these videos now, and I was doing.
How'd I know?
I was doing crouching strong or crouching fierce against Ryu's jump roundhouse, And yeah, I don't know where. I mean, maybe I got that stuff from Fred, but yeah, I don't know. It was pretty high level stuff back in the day. It's surprising to see when I go back and watch it.
Yeah, you're like, what the hell? How did I know that? Or how did I react to that? Or how did that actually work? And that's why like watching old footage is good, because it gives you the simpler ideas, because simplicity is what's going to get you far in this game. When you start overthinking shit or overextending, you're doing too much. That's how you bury yourself.
I was patient. I was beating Chun Super with Kick Lariat. I knew things back then, which is surprising. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. That's like, when you have that kind of a moment and things are just working your way, you're like, man, maybe I really shouldn't have won, but you're doing it. You're like, in the moment, you're just playing so strong. It makes you feel like I have the ability now. Like I should pursue this. That's pretty sick.
It was a very good feeling. I remember at one point popping off, like, so all of the players were done, and I think Jason Wilson had not gone yet. And I remember shouting to the crowd, "Anybody else?" It was funny.
Did you do your little dance shimmy?
No, I didn't perfect that until much later.
You know what it is? That was also on the American side-to-side cab, right? What was that like atmosphere like?
Right, so that was on the US controls, luckily, because that's what I was used to. If it was Japanese, I would have been done. But
I think everyone at that time was playing US controls. That was the standard for us, right?
Yeah, it was.
So,
yeah, and it was good. I think he had the big ones, so it wasn't like, well, we could probably see in the video, see how close the shoulders are. But I don't, because it was what I was used to, I don't remember it being an issue.
Yeah, plus, I think at that point you already had a cab in your home, right? Your custom built main cab.
No, I think that didn't come until, I think that was a bit later.
Yeah, but this guy Damdai had an American cab, so quick story. It was when you were living in Queens, and for me, that was like an hour plus train ride for whatever reason from Manhattan to Queens.
It was pretty out there. It was in Kew Gardens.
Kew Gardens, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't want to say the exact location, but yeah.
No, that's fine. I don't give a shit. I'm not there now.
Yeah.
It's not like I have any stalkers or anything. But if you took Long Island Railroad from Penn Station, it was only like 15 minutes. But if you took the subway, that shit was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I took the local subway, probably like the F train or whatever it was back then.
Yeah, public transportation in New York is so fucked up, dude. It's like, it's so old. It's never working right. Signs on the trains that like say where it's going are wrong half the time. Expresses turn into locals. Locals turn into expresses. I don't know how tourists fucking deal with that shit.
Dude, on weekends we'll be like, this D train is running on the F line until it gets to Canal Street, at which point it'll become a Q local train. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I know all this shit, but yeah, how are tourists gonna deal with this, man?
Yeah,
it's so
next
confusing.
Stop will be in Washington D.C. Sorry for the inconvenience. But yeah, so Kew Gardens, my cab. I like that apartment. That was a cool apartment.
That was nice. You had like the lift that takes you right to your apartment.
Yeah, right? It was, the very top floor. It had those cool like almost floor to ceiling windows. And since it was like out in Kew Gardens, it was the only tall building. I think I was on the 16th floor or something. So we had a great view like all around. That was a cool spot. Just sucks that it was so far out there.
Yeah, you're always out here living in fucking islands and high buildings. Like, I swear you're from Asgard or something. But
well, I mean, I try to find, places that I like. So I have a particular taste. I won't settle for less. That's what it is.
Yeah, you already talked about, I always need the latest gadgets, or I need to know the latest tech for stuff. Yeah, so
I have like buyer's remorse otherwise. I'll always be wondering, would my life be better if I had spent a few extra dollars?
So what's the best tech gadget you have now?
Probably the analog Mega SG.
What did I commercial break?
I'm kidding there. Yeah, I mean the running joke there is forget it. So yeah, I don't know. Coolest thing. I mean, I love my PVMs, but that's like retro tech. I don't know. My car is pretty technologically advanced. It's got the self parking and stuff. The auto lane guidance. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing crazy.
Damdai's going to be the first to have a flying car. All right. Well,
if I can afford it when it comes out.
You got to keep winning these tournaments, man. But anyhow, so actually, this is an interesting topic. You already mentioned that you were flying around for tournaments, and I think back then, unless you were truly passionate about the game, there was a budget. Like you're a bit older than me, so like you were able to experience a lot more events than I did when I was starting early on. Yeah. Like, did you ever hesitate on like plane ticket, hotel? Like, is that something that you thought about, or you're just like, bro, like I want to have fun? How'd it go?
No, not really. I had a pretty good job at the time, so money wasn't really an issue. I would shop for good deals, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I was flying like to MWC, I would try to get a ticket that was in the $200 range. If it was too high, I would I guess I would not go or wait, but usually if I would wait, even if the prices didn't come down towards the end of the tournament, like the hype would be building, and then I would just like, I just have to buy one and go. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I followed the same strategy too. At one point when we were flying out together, I remember we used to like track flight prices every day pretty much.
Yeah, it's easy. You just, I don't know how many people do this, but yeah, you just like, I forget what I used at the time. Damn, it's been so long since I've flown. I forget like the websites I would go to.
Kayak or some shit.
Kayak, yes, that was it. So yeah, you just do a notification. I'm flying from here to here on these dates, and then they'll send you an email like every day or every week with the prices, so you can jump on it immediately when the price dips.
Yeah, so when the world opens back up, for anyone who hasn't, been traveling to tournaments, if you're considering it, definitely there's options. You don't have to just book on the spot. The prices fluctuate.
Yeah, flights are like the stock market.
Yeah.
Right? That shit's up and down constantly. And almost 100% of the time, it will dip to a very low level that you'll feel good about getting.
And then also, like, don't just think about the lowest price, but think about like your convenience and comfortability as well. Like if you're gonna get the red eye versus,
totally, that's a good point.
Nonstop or not, yeah. Like there's a lot of things to consider for you to really enjoy your tournament experience. So the price isn't everything if you're not gonna have fun when you get there.
Right. So, like I will pay more for a nonstop, not red eye. Like that. Those are requirements for flights for me.
Well, lucky for you, you had, the ability to fly around a lot more than, many of the players, like I guess from my-ish era. But then at a certain point, I think we were going out to a lot of events. Well, before we talk about flying out more, there was another series of tournaments, and many in the East Coast, but we had Chinatown Fair. So if you wanted to go into CTF stories.
Yeah, I don't really have any strong memories from CTF because I don't think we ever did any tournaments there, or at least I didn't. That was just like a casual hangout place in my mind. But yeah, I remember playing there, meeting up with you and Tech Monkey, David Doyle, Tech Monkey's brother, and NoHoHo. I think we were the regulars. Am I missing anybody?
Flash G
was there, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure a couple other guys that would pop in and out, but there was a series of Chinatown Fair tournaments. Actually, the first day I met you was at one, but I didn't participate in the tournament. I had to go somewhere.
Did I?
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
For some reason, I don't remember tournaments there.
There's definitely footage of you fighting like Justin Wong's old Sagat with Zangief, and yeah, it exists.
Okay.
And I don't recall. I feel like Justin used to probably win all those, or be like Justin versus
yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I think I do remember that. And Justin, I remember him using Old Ken a lot back then. But
he picked Old Ken against Blanca, and man, damn, there's so many match videos. But I'll tell you something that Justin did. So if he fought NoHoHo, NoHoHo was gonna beat his old Sagat, like. Damn. Free, even though the matchup is bad, he was gonna win.
Shades of Fromo Ultra Combo.
Oh no! Why'd you have to do that? Why? All right, so I don't know. It's crazy.
Maybe it's a bad matchup for Olsagat.
Nah. Well, anyhow, but basically, this dude Justin would put himself in the corner and just hit low short. So if Blanca does any type of poke, like low short's beating it. Like low short, I'm pretty sure beats Blanca's crouch fierce at max range.
He did that instead of low medium punch?
Yeah, so you just like, he would sparingly hit buttons, but he was using low short. Obviously, if Blanca jumped in, he would just do jump roundhouse. And the only other thing he would do is when Blanca was about to come up for the bite, Justin Wong would just hit low roundhouse. Like he could just time it perfectly, and NoHo couldn't get the bite. Like Justin made that match look so bad without even doing anything.
Yeah, Justin
crazy.
Was super good. I remember. It took a while before I can beat him, and I remember that moment. But yeah, he was the king for quite a while.
Just off of like super basics, but you know he has these things in matchups that he looks at that just help him win. You actually have the same thing.
I was just about to say that. I think our styles are similar. It's just kind of like boiled down fundamentals, right?
Because there's specific examples, and I know you'll know it when I bring it up. But to summarize the Damdai gameplay, it's LCD. It's least common denominator. So you take like, the big fraction and you simplify it to like, instead of 3/9, you do 1/3. So these three things that, you would have to pay attention to. So, if I mention, for example, Ryu versus Olsagat, what are you looking for? You're going to say that there's three things specifically. What are they?
Oh man, putting me on the spot now. I don't want to answer wrong.
on your own tech.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, looking for Sagat's little hop jumps, of course, so I can like stand medium kick them. Depending on the range, it's going to be a stand medium kick or a stand jab. Tatsu over low tiger, and I guess just like a jump over a tiger shot, but that's more of a read. So, yeah. But those are really the three things that I'm looking for.
Exactly, because I remember Mike Idge. So Mike Idge is a player from New Jersey who also became like an aficionado of sorts, collecting cabs and boards and really getting into the game. Shout out to Mike. He's a family
more than
man.
all of us. He was the major collector. And
he would ask you so many questions all the time. And Mike was funny. The way he the way he got into this game. But anyway, he'd be like, what are you looking for? How do you fight Olsagat? And you're like,
I love it, dude. I love his energy. Like, you could tell that he's serious about it. He's passionate. He wants to get better. Like, I love that. I love when players have that. But go on.
And he was like, what are you doing? You're like, there's three things. And basically, it was the three things that you just said. So then if someone picked Olsagat and now you're like doing it, he goes, oh, I get it. And I think you probably do that with every matchup. So I'm just going to throw another one out there. I don't know what you're looking for, but let's just say like, I don't know, Ryu Dalsim or old Ryu Dalsim. What are you looking for?
All right. And that one, it's a little more chaotic because Ryu can't really react to anything Dalsim does. So it's more of like, get the tendency of the player so that you can do a random DP to get a knockdown. So that's one thing. The primary thing, I guess I should start with, is just the fireball timing. I kind of want to walk up to him, so it's hard for him to react, slide, or drill over it. And then right after he pokes, like if he whiffs a standing forward or a standing roundhouse, immediately fireball. And then that type of play will put the Dalsim on edge because they'll be thinking like, I shouldn't be blocking these fireballs. I need to be sliding under them or drilling. And then they'll start doing that as reads instead of reactions. And then you can get those DPs for the knockdown. And then obviously that's where the unblockable Tatsu comes from. If it's new Ryu, then you can try for a cross-up roundhouse. Dalsim's pretty good to cross up, or his overhead mix-ups or whatever. But those are the three things.
Yeah, so obviously we could go on and do the whole character, like the character roster, but...
yeah, the great thing about being able to simplify it like this is that it opens up your... so you have like a certain amount of focus points that you can allocate to looking for like anti-airs or, the spacing or when to throw a fireball, things like that. If you're spread too thin, all of those things kind of collapse like a house of cards. So if you only have, 2 or 3 things in your game plan that you need to be conscious of, it lets you allocate more focus points to each of them. So I think that's one of the secrets to my success.
Yeah, actually, there's AFO mentioned the same thing. If anyone has the Tournament of Legends program, TOL1 made by NoHoHo, there's an article by AFO, and he talks about allocated consciousness, which is what Damdai just mentioned. And the example is Kurahashi's fighting Blanca, and he's punishing, stuff like pokes with low strong. But when Blanca does a jump fierce, because Kurahashi's so focused on the ground, he can't DP. So he blocks a jump fierce. Fortunate for him, like the jump fierce hits from really far, so Blanca doesn't get like a walk-up bite after or anything like that.
But he still hits like a truck. You don't want to get hit by that shit.
Yeah. But I mean, he blocks the fierce. He doesn't DP it. Like he guards because he wasn't prepared to anti-air.
Right.
But the point
His
is
focus
like,
was elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're channeling your energy in this one thing that you feel you're stronger at, you might have a higher success rate. In rare times, though, like your brain will be wired to everything, and you can just see everything for like a couple of seconds where, you can DP like a slide or DP something that's really hard to do, not just like as a read or anticipation. It's like you were just in there. And
that's when you're in the flow state.
Right. Oh man, the flow. Yeah, we'll get into the flow state too. Actually, we can move into that in a little bit, but I think that everyone should probably analyze their own play and think about like, how am I approaching the game? Do I have like an ideal? Is my play style something that can be like broken down?
Always look to simplify. Like I think a lot of intermediate and beginner players are just doing like way too much.
Or like combo video, or they want to get the highlight, but like the highlight is winning the tournament or winning the match. The highlight isn't like, and this is coming from someone who tries to end every match with a super combo, but
I mean, you're held consistent with those. But yeah, take it from me. You don't have to do combos to win.
Yeah, just
if you want to be successful in tournament, just simplify, just fundamentals.
Yeah. And just another example of that, and then we can talk about flow, is like the way that you play Hawk. So, at the time that all of the new tech is being discovered and, there's programs for it and all that stuff, everyone wanted to do these Sako ticks. But, with installing, everything 9.5, like you're just going crazy. But your style, you focused on, I'm going to jump over the Sonic Boom with a jump fierce. And then, I'm gonna like sack, like his crouch fierce is gonna get stuffed, and now I can go into SPD or whatever. Like you simplified to look for just a handful of things, and it increased your success rate.
Yeah,
you find
because
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So because my success rate with Sako Tick wasn't that great, like I would have liked to have done it, but I just put that in the back burner because I was like, okay, I just can't get this consistent enough for tournament. So let me focus on these other aspects. And I think that really helped me as far as my T-Hawk success. Because I was quite successful with him in the time in the US when I did use him. A lot of players probably weren't experienced against him yet. But just simplifying it, like Riz said, to walk up to that close spacing against like a Guile, for example, and then you can react to his Sonic Boom with a jumping fierce. So playing Marsgatti as much as I did, T-Hawk Guile, I was really able to hone this particular strategy, and it was very effective. So walk up the jump fierce, and then once you get the knockdown, just make sure you have that safe jump timing down, and then that's the end.
Yeah, because damn, I sound like I'm shilling Damdai, but on the real, your safe jumps were more consistent than any other Hawk on the planet at the time. Maybe like Hurion, like apart from Hurion, because he also like had perfected it. But yeah, because you're not looking for every little thing, you're just focusing on super basics. It increased, for maximum efficiency. And you're probably gonna, holy shit, how do you know this? But Kurahashi even once quoted like, every time when you were doing those, jump reaction on Sonic Boom.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
You told me that. So it was
I did? Oh, shit.
It was one of the X-Mania Euro tournaments, and I think he turned to Hanashi, like he was playing Gal, or he was watching you fight Gal, and anytime they threw the fireball, Sonic Boom, you were able to like jump react, and he goes, and he like turned to him, like every time. Like you have
damn.
this.
So somebody who speaks Japanese must have told me that. Maybe it was NKI. Because he would have said it in Japanese, obviously, right? But I don't know Japanese, so yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I just saw the subtitles at the bottom. But
I added those in. That ninja edit.
Yeah, let's talk about Flow real quick. I mean, you've been interviewed so many times, actually the most interviewed SC player to date, I want to say, between you and El Trouble. Shout out to El Trouble. But you've talked about Flow a bit, even in a recent podcast you had with the 3S guys. I think it was Frankie BFG, arguably one of the, no, not arguably, definitely like top 3 third strike player in North America, period, or outside of Japan even. And you talked about Flow, and that's what you're trying to achieve when you're playing this style, right? Like, what's Flow?
So Flow is a mind state that happens when you're very experienced or comfortable doing something, and it can be from anything. It can be from doing the laundry, washing the dishes, cooking, playing an instrument, really anything, I guess. Anything that you put the time into, you do, repetitive, just over and over. It just becomes like second nature, right? Muscle memory, stuff like that. I guess there's all these kind of words for it or things that contribute to it. But and then when you're in the flow state, just kind of like everything comes naturally without thought. It's just like, it's just like an automatic thing. People like, they talk about flowchart in kind of like a negative aspect. And I don't think it is. I feel like when I'm in kind of, or maybe I'm using the term flowchart incorrectly just because it has flow in it. But when you're doing things without thinking, if you're good enough, those things that you're doing will be the correct things to do. And because you're not thinking, you're able to process things faster. So like your reactions will be better. Your general decision making will be better. Your zoning, timing, stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's basically what flow is.
Yeah, because there's different flow charts. Like there's the flow chart where you're playing poker with no money. Your your analogy, and then there's also, why I say the Japanese players are overall better in ST than us is because they play without thinking, honestly. And like my last trip I took to Japan, like I asked anywhere I was going, like, hey Murasaki, like, do you think when you play? He goes, what? Like, do you like think of it? He goes, no, like, because there's nothing to think about. The reason why they can react to all those things or, make that clutch moment happen, all that stuff. Like there might be a little bit of nerves that's going to happen, but they're just, it's like breathing,
Yeah. And this comes naturally. This comes naturally from the repetition. So because they're getting a lot more reps in than we are over a longer period of time, it makes it very difficult to beat them.
Yeah. So that's, if anyone has a hobby, I think, you're able to achieve flow if you're truly like dedicated to your craft. So, similarly, actually, Makiri talked about the same thing with how he approached his like music and really wanting to, do this for his career. And you could say that he achieved flow for his lifestyle currently.
Yeah, I'm sure. Amazing. I mean, yeah, he's doing that a lot. He's put the time into it. And that's the product that comes out or whatever. If you guys are interested in it, like I went down rabbit holes with the psychology and philosophy and stuff, almost as much as I did with space. But yeah, if you're interested, check out the Flow Wikipedia. And there's like some cool diagrams there that show you what your mental state will be depending on your skill level versus the challenge level. It's pretty interesting.
Do you do a lot of those like tests or IQ tests or ink blots or?
No.
Just wondering how deep you go into, because there's a lot that you can gain from the game without actually playing, and it depends on your mental state. So, for example, if you're going into a tournament and you're like, oh man, I should be winning, but you're actually like not putting in the time to play, or you're relying on like top tier or counter pick, or like definitely you're not engaging with the game in the same way.
Yeah.
Then it's going to reflect on the results too. So that's why it's really important that you should know like the level that you want to be at and try to get there. For it to like truly matter. At least that's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing a guitar for 10 years and all your time's in that, and then you go to try to play, I don't know, a piano or something, obviously you're not going to be as good at that. Obviously in fighting games, a lot more carries over from character to character, but you need to put the time in with each to have any chance of achieving that flow state.
Yeah. And with that, I remember in one of those interviews that you did with Gutex where you talked about flow, you said at the very end that, your goal after winning Capcom 25th, your goal was, to be able to consistently beat the Japanese. Is that still a target for you?
I mean, it's something that it's a target insofar as it's something that I haven't accomplished yet. But as far as like an active goal, no, because I just can't train at the same level that they can. So it's an unrealistic goal right now. If we were still playing our offline sessions like we did back at Howard's in Connecticut with the Don't Blow This crew, if we were doing that consistently, or at Arthur's, then sure, I'd be actively trying to improve, and we all would be helping each other grow. But because we can't do that now, it's like, whatever, that's got to be put on the back burner until we can, if that ever happens or not. But it's not something that I'm hungry about like I was back then.
Yeah, I feel like from that time you've definitely grown a lot. And unfortunately there is the gap that we have, but at the same time we shouldn't feel going into a match against a Japanese player like, I'm going to lose, they put in too much time or whatever. We still
I think a lot of it is the mental gap. Like we have the knowledge and the skill, but it's just the experience that they have, that they're able to achieve that flow state more than us. So if you do look at that diagram on Wikipedia, you'll know what I'm talking about. So you achieve flow state when your skill level is high and the challenge level is high. If your skill level is high and the challenge level is low, you'll experience apathy. If your skill level is low but the challenge is high, you'll feel anxiety or something like that. So relatively speaking, the Japanese challenge is higher than my skill level. So I can't achieve that flow state without more experience in those conditions. So I think that's why, at least me personally, and I'm guessing other US players or anyone outside of Japan, because they win, way more often than not, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty real, and hopefully it doesn't like demotivate players. It means that we have to, work together and try to play more. Hopefully, when things pick back up.
Yeah, I mean, you can be successful in your scene outside of Japan, and that's very rewarding. So don't feel like Japan is the end all be all, because like real talk, it's not that exciting winning in Japan, because they do the one and done team tournaments, no prize money. So for me personally, I would much rather be top in America than top in Japan. But if I was top in Japan, I would also be top in America. So it's kind of like a bonus.
Well,
but
that's
don't feel like if you can't get to that Japanese level that it's like, not worth playing. There's much satisfaction to be had
that's
playing
the thing, right?
Outside of Japan.
Because we talked about like with Matsun like being the best player, and it was more so, at least my opinion, was, someone who's like, doing the most to grow the scene and like being a consistent winning player, which in Japan is mostly team tournaments. But in the US, I guess like, being regarded as the best is a completely different thing because of the way that tournaments happen and the formats and levels. So like in your opinion, what is it? Because we can say on paper, like, yes, Damdai is the best because he's won the most events in the last, 10 years, period, at the highest levels, or, has had the highest success rate. Like the argument will always be between you and Afro, basically, as far as, best. But it has to be a different criteria, right? We can't, it's hard to compare, isn't it?
Yeah. So, hopefully I can find the words here in my diminished state, but the scenes are very different as far as the US and Japan. So my experience in the US, because we do singles tournaments, it's way easier to measure each other's relative skill, right? You win the tournament, first place, second place, third place, there's your order. And then over enough tournaments, over enough time, you get your established hierarchy or whatever. Hierarchy? Is that a silent H? I forget.
No, it's a positive. It's not a negative edge.
It's a positive edge. Yeah. So because of that, I feel like there's more of a satisfactory like goal in the American scene. You see the fruits of your labors. You can see easily when you're improving. You climb that ladder, you win more tournaments. In Japan, because it's all team-based and just so many players are like at that top level, that I think the game becomes a little more random at the top. So it's kind of harder to see your growth there, because I don't know if it's possible to go on win streaks in Japan like you can in the US. Like in the US, there was a period where I was winning every tournament over like a number of years, and that would never happen in Japan. Like even if you're the best player. I mean, maybe Oto-chan if they were doing singles, maybe Mao, but I think it's highly unlikely. So yeah, I mean that nature there, like it's just completely different, mentally and whatever else. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely appreciate that perspective, because like it wasn't something that I thought about until like we quickly discussed it recently, and after Matsun's episode about like best this and best that, and, like even from his perspective, like he was saying like, oh, I don't think I achieved enough or not the best, and it's because the mentality is different, like you said. So
yeah, like I think in the US it's very like precise, the measurement of the US players, like where we are on the skill ladder. But in Japan, it's kind of like these large blobs of these large groups of level, right? Like you have all of the, the top players, the Kotakas, the Kurahashis, the Maos and stuff, the Fujimans. They're just kind of all in this blob group at the top. And then you have another blob group of intermediates. And then like, that's kind of it. And then I guess a smaller group of beginners, because, the relative skill in Japan is just elevated overall. But yeah, I think that's the difference there. And for me, that makes it, as a competitive player, it makes it more fun in the US, just because you can see where you are, going up or down.
Yeah, there's kind of like, I guess, a metaphorical trophy that you can carry, and not just US. Like I don't follow in depth the European scene either, but I think everyone knows like the top players are like, oh, it's like Zagi and Orf, and you know, like
it's like Afro Samurai. If anybody has seen that anime, you get the number 1 headband, the number 2 headband, the number 3 headband.
When you said Afro Samurai, I'm like, you mean Afro Legends? What's going on? But yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic, and one that I'll continue to bring up in future episodes, as far as like how people feel about ranking And, speaking of which, actually, you do have a few hobbies related to fighting games. So I'm going to try to go in order of, I guess, your resume. So firstly, you had 2D Fighter, right? What happened to 2D Fighter or Supercade? It was rebranded as Supercade, right?
Yeah, so 2DF was first. And even before that actually was born out of a desire to organize our Super Sundays tournaments that was ran by, I think, Raisin was the name.
Oh, Ryzen X. Or Raisin X. I think it was Ryzen.
Yeah, I think it was Raisin. You think it was Ryzen. And then it became Riz1. No, just kidding.
But, just evolved my true form.
Yeah. So some of the players that were in this back in the day, this was before GGPO had ST, because we were playing on Kylera P2P. Yeah, and I think DJ Frijoles was in there. Yep. Did you participate in those?
Nah, I think I had issues with port forwarding, and I wasn't good at computers. So
all right, so you weren't there back then, but definitely some people that are around now were in it back then. I kind of forget because it's just like a blur. It was so long ago. But yeah, anyways, we were running those, and Raisin was trying to keep the, I guess it was like an ELO rating or something, just trying to calculate that manually. So I wanted to automate that process. So I created a program that, we can do that. And then that eventually morphed into the full-fledged 2DF application, which is, just like Fightcade now. And then because my satisfaction from doing that was in the process itself, like the problem solving of programming it morphed several times, because I would program it, it would be done, and then it would just sit there, and I would just, I would get bored of it. I would want to try something new, just a new challenge. So at one point it became like web-based only, where you'd have a little icon in your system tray, and then you'd go to the website and see who was hosting a game, and then you can join by that. And there was no chat there. Players hated it, of course, but I guess priority for me was just the programming challenge. And then I think I forget the order here, but Supercade I think existed as the web-based at one point, and then went back to the more traditional client server thing. And then there were a few UI modifications to Supercade. I remember having fun with the scrolling screenshots and stuff to select your game, but that made the download size over 100 megabytes, and people did not like that.
100 megs is nothing. I guess back then it was a lot.
Yeah, back then it was kind of chunky. Right now it's nothing, but it's still more than you'd like. But I remember using the .NET click once technology, where you just click a link on a website and it automatically does the install, and it automatically handles any updates also. So that was kind of forward thinking back then.
That's the standard now too, huh? Now
yeah,
we're just doing that.
Yeah, I mean, Fightcade's great. They made great strides with that. It's way more than GGPO or 2DF Supercade ever was. So yeah. So yep.
And that was, I remember you actually had a website, Damdai.com, and that had all of your projects on there. Mm-hmm. You still have that up?
I have the URL, but nothing's there because none of those projects exist anymore.
Yeah, it was Damdai.com, and you had a good sense of design. It was just a sans serif font, pretty big, bold, different.
Yeah, it's a very minimalist.
Yeah.
Like my
Damdai style.
Yeah,
Damdai style.
That's the style.
Yeah, very minimalist. Least common denominator, LCD boys. But
yeah, just functional. Just functional, clean.
But you also had Tonamento, which I remember we used to use when we would meet up and do tournaments at Mars's house or whatever. Yeah. So Tonamento, is that still around?
I still have it. I have the code for it, but I don't pay for the website anymore. But yeah, that was another fun coding challenge. I remember that the reason I liked it above Challenge, which was just starting out at the time, was because there were way less clicks to do things. Like I remember early challenge to declare a winner, you had to click one button and then that would pop out the window with the players, and then you had to set the score and also choose the winner, which I always thought was so stupid because obviously you know who won based on the score. So I tried to simplify all of that stuff, remove extra steps. And I thought it was good functionality wise. Like it used Ajax and everything, so you didn't have to refresh the page. Only the elements that needed refreshing would refresh. It was very lightweight. It had the auto seeding and stuff based on all of the tournaments that were already ran in the system.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a feature where if the players added their phone number to their profile, it would text them when their match was up, which was really cool for like, big tournaments where it's notoriously difficult to find players. So it was very like forward thinking stuff that I did back then, but it was all just for the challenge of doing it to me. And then once I did it, I just lost interest and I just didn't want to maintain it anymore. So they came down. So I'm sorry to the Tonamento and Supercade fans out there. Yeah, that's why.
I think there's definitely still a lot of potential for Tonamento to come back now, and especially for like you said, the seeding to make it easier, so there's no debate because all the records are saved. Which you also have FGC rankings. I didn't realize, thought about it. I'm like, you kind of did put in some work for this scene. So what's FGC rankings?
Yeah, I remember you insulting me a few tournaments ago because of the whole like pod distribution and shit. But whatever. Yeah, so FGC Rankings is my latest project. I did that a few months ago. This is actually a what's it called? Like not necrophied. Like what's it called when you raise something from the dead?
Out of my way. Sorry. That's a necro reference.
Yeah. Resurrected, I guess. Reanimated. I don't know. But yeah, this is something that I tried to do way back in the day, maybe like 2012 days, to track player ratings and stuff. So we had a definitive tier list of players. But I never finished it back then. And then John C wanted to do something to do something like that. And I was like, hey, I have this, a lot of this already written from back in the day. And then I just kind of got like the motivation to complete it. And I did. So that's FGCrankings.com out there now. And then of course, COVID hit and no more offline tournaments because I don't want to add the online stuff on there. I think there's too many factors that, there's too many factors that kind of muddy the skill there. So 5K2 is pretty great.
We'll need the online version of FGC rankings and like an online tier list, like Honda suddenly top tier. But that first version was the one where I think you had actually Tech Monkey upload videos and put in ranking.
Oh, no, so that was a completely different project. I forgot about this one.
Yeah, see, yeah,
that was FADC. That was FrameAdvantage.com, and that I did with Seb, who you guys will remember from Super Turbo Saturdays video series that we had a few of those that were pretty popular. He dipped down to the scene many years ago to go work at Riot, and he's in that esports scene now. But so that was a website that I did for that, which was actually very cool. I think there's still nothing like it. Maybe after this conversation, I'll feel like resurrecting that and see if I can get some motivation there. Damn, you were the Third Strike references today.
Yeah, shout out to MuneXP. But it was because of I remember you can search a player name, so you can put like Riz, right?
Right.
And it would load up all my matches, and then while you're watching a match, it would say at the bottom like, so and so has an 80% success rate against this player, and his all-time winning rate is this percent. And that's like, damn, that's kind of ahead of its time.
You're getting me hype just bringing these things back. And I remember you could tag the videos while you're watching it, like good reversal or great comeback and shit like that. And it trimmed the fat off the video, so you can get rid of all of Arturo's shilling and stuff if you didn't want to see any of that. It was just like right to the meat of the match, so it was good
The meaty setups.
Yeah, it was all meaties. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I remember liking the way that it looked and stuff. I don't know if it still holds up, but I remember feeling good about that project.
Yeah, I think the tedious part was like just getting who won, and after that I probably just automated all the percentages. But
yeah, entering the videos was whack. That's why I paid Tech Monkey to do some.
But I think it's a good community project that people would definitely like volunteer for, even if they got paid a little bit. Like as a hobby, we have so many people now that
and because I know, with the YouTube Super Turbo stuff, kind of like in a state of transition because the main site went down or something, and I know Ernest tried to resurrect some of those videos and stuff, but now might be a good time to like only focus on the ST community. Right, which is kind of what I did with FGC rankings and Supercade at the time, or 2DF. Just kind of focus so you grow like a little community and then like branch out to the others if they want to use it or not. But maybe I'll think about that.
If anyone's watching and you think that's a good idea, give me a hell yeah. I don't know, just throw some emotes or whatever. But I think there's a lot of or throw the shill boy emote. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for a lot of the tech that you made to be like combined into one thing right now, where everyone can find the best information and boom,
match videos, tournaments, ratings, connect it all.
Yep. Are there any other new projects that you're doing currently?
No, everything's house related now. Interior design projects. well at least I haven't been able to do art for a few months. No hobby programming. So hopefully when things settle down here, I'll be able to get back to those other things that I love.
Yeah, definitely. You do have quite a bit of hobbies. I think one of them recently was speedrunning. And fun fact for anyone who doesn't know, but Damdai does have the many records. Some of them are more obscure games that you grew up on, right? But you got one really important one, which is what you discovered at the pizza place, and that's Street Fighter 1. So that's a pretty amazing. Like, if I could have any world record, actually, that's the one I'd want to start with too. To be fair, that's freaking sick. So what's that like?
Well, you got your Mister now, and there's the Street Fighter 1 core was just released in beta. I don't know how good it is, but I'd like to see you start speedrunning. It would be fun to get that competition going. But yeah, speedrunning is fun for someone who, like, I always liked the idea of playing games. I got this gaming PC with an ultra wide monitor, but the games, they don't hold my attention, which is kind of like, it's kind of disappointing. I want to like these things, but I just don't. But speedrunning kind of gives like a new goal. There's a competitive aspect to it that I guess I like. I've always been attracted to the competition. So yeah, speedrunning is something new that I started doing, starting with some Sega Master System games that I grew up with playing as a kid. Those are kind of low-hanging fruit, easy to get the records for. Some of the more challenging ones, Street Fighter 1 has been challenging. There's another guy that's running it. He got the first sub-9 that was very difficult to take back, but I did, and now my record's been holding for a few weeks now. If anyone else wants to take a crack at it, the next game that I'm going to run is Streets of Rage, Part 1 for the Sega Genesis, and that's a pretty contested speedrun too. So I'm getting into the more challenging games now.
Maybe eventually we'll do a co-op Streets of Rage and try to get that. But
yeah, I'm definitely got to be offline for that.
Yeah, you're right. I'm definitely down to join the speedrunning world. That's why I got the Mr. Shoutouts to Finger Crimp for building this joint for me. I'll have to send you pictures. It's pretty dope. But
yeah, it's fun. Once you start and like you just get into that first grind, then I think something will click in you if you enjoy it. If not, then it won't click. But you'll know pretty early on.
I mean, as a kid, there were a lot of games that I really enjoyed. I would try to like master it, like learn every little thing about it. And now as an adult and having experience, I guess like my own version of Flow, it's like, I want to be able to like take this and beat it as quick as possible. And for me, the start grind is not fun because you don't have that muscle memory yet.
You still have to like get the repetition. But then once you start doing that and then you start to remember what you have to do when, that's when it becomes fun. And then you start like, shaving the seconds off and getting your PBs and things. So if you're interested in speedrunning and you're not liking it at first because it kind of sucks to learn from the beginning, if you stick it out like a little bit, just a matter of days, just so your brain gets used to it, you might find enjoyment at that point.
Yeah, to me, like a speed run is just a really long combo video. So
exactly.
a combo you're trying to do in ST, it's really hard. Might just be a 2-second combo, but to optimize a speed run, you're looking at what's like a good Goldilocks zone for you.
It's like a 10-minute 1,000 input combo. But what do you mean Goldilocks zone as far as speedrunning times?
Yeah,
10 minutes.
What's ideal for you? Yeah, 10-minute speedrun. I think it's pretty healthy because you're not killing yourself trying to, beat some of those newer games. It's like 3-hour speedruns because if you mess up and you got to reset, like you lose all that time.
I think Super Mario 1 might be the best speedrunning game like ever, but it's so optimized that it's not worth running right now. As a personal challenge, yes, but it's got so many cool like frame perfect tricks and like high level techniques. And there's no like wiggle room. Like you have to hold forward the whole time and your button presses have to be precise. So it's very technical. It's very cool in that respect.
There's a lot of like YouTube footage that breaks down all the tech in the game. And like just to put it in perspective, the task, so the tool assisted versus the actual, the real speed run has less than 1 second of difference. So that's how optimized it is. It's 455 basically, but
and there's no
the task
RNG.
can do 454.
Yeah, and there's no RNG.
The only RNG will be when you press game start for.
Oh, is that when the frame rule timer starts or something? Yeah,
so that's why like when they start the console, there's like -7 seconds, like, and it's on a timer from the time that you turn on the console. So you have like that first start press that you do, you have like, a couple of frames to do it.
All right. Well, there's very minimal RNG. I know other games have that like from system start have that affects the certain things of like spawns and stuff like Contra. I know that from the latest YouTube video that came out. I forget who does them.
Summoning Salt?
Yes, yeah.
Summoning Salt. So, his videos. Yeah, I aspire to be that way with Super Turbo storytelling one day.
Yeah, but yeah, sick. I think games with minimal RNG they're more satisfying to speedrun because it sucks to have your like, especially for the longer games, you have your 20-minute run just fucking killed because of some RNG bullshit, and that's what
Mario
it feels.
3.
Okay, and that's what it feels like Street Fighter 1 is at right now. Like as long as you can do the specials in that game, which is a challenge in its own right. It's fun once you can do the specials, and then you learn the optimal strategies against the different characters. But then once you get that, it's complete RNG for how the AI, like which AI, routine wants to run. Do they want to be aggressive? Like you want them to be aggressive because they jump into your DP, you get the fastest kill. But sometimes they just fucking run away, and that's the end of your run. So
they run away. That's funny. But yeah, I think all those like hobbies and the way that, like how we talked about your other projects and these hobbies, you approach it the same way that you do with ST. And so there's actually another thing that we have in common, which is Game 24. So if you can take a look at my screen over here.
Memories. I love it.
So Game 24, simple game. So a card is placed and you're playing against a couple of people, and whoever taps the card first to solve the card gets the point. There's 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. And you use addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division to get to 24. So for example, on this box art, 7 times 3 is 21, 4 take away 1 is 3, 21 plus 3 is 24. And I don't know how it got brought up like a long time ago, but it just so happens that you're the only other person I know that played this game on a competitive level like I did.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
that's crazy. I'm very curious if any listeners right now know this game.
It's so obscure, but
yeah.
we entered tournaments for this in a different decade though. But so what I have for you, Damdai, is solve this card.
I'm not going to do that right now. I was worried you were going to do this because I'm really fucking tired right now. I have a stuffy nose. I haven't done math in 25 years. I don't want to be embarrassed. So I'm not even going to try.
Easy. Just try. Just try.
I don't want to try.
It's a one-pointer. It's a one-pointer.
Listen,
you got this. You got this.
You saying it's easy has me all stressed out because I'm going to look at this and then I'm going to hesitate. Oh my God, dude.
It's a one-pointer. This one's easy. I promise.
No. All right. So what do you got?
Just look. Open your eyes.
All right. So if we do 4 times 3, that's 12. Plus 9 is 21, 22.
That's a 6. That's a 6.
Oh, that's a 6. Okay.
When it's filled in, it's a 9. Yeah.
All right. So 6 times 3 plus 4 plus 2.
That's not how you solve it in a tournament.
How do you solve it?
So in tournament,
6 plus 3 is 18. Plus 4 is 22. Plus 2 is 24.
Yeah, that's correct. But the way that we had to do it in tournament, you say the last step first. Then you do step 1, step 2, step 3.
Oh, okay. So I remember you told me this because the meta kind of changed in the 10 years since I played, where people figured out that you don't have to solve it because like first you have to hit a buzzer or whatever. Like it's not a buzzer. The what the fuck word am I looking for? It's you know what I'm saying? I want to, what is this word? The metaphorical button? We
used to just tap the card.
Whatever it is, yeah. So yeah, you have to tap first like Jeopardy or whatever. So then you'll have the floor to solve it. But you don't have to solve it before you tap it, right? You tap it and then you figure it out as you go. So this meta didn't exist in my era.
Yeah, so you were playing World Warrior. I was playing legit CE. It was dope and it was really competitive. So anyway, so you got that one. All right. Sorry, I got a couple more. Here's a 2-pointer.
No, please don't. I thought I was done. Okay, so that's a that's a 9.
Yeah, that's a 9.
All right, so when it's filled in, it's a 9. You fucking cocksucker, dude.
Come on, man.
Right. What am I looking at here?
Because
all right, I got it.
Oh yeah, go for it.
All right, 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 9 is 24 times 1.
Yeah, it's 24. See? And to me, like, you could give me any 4 numbers right now, and it might be the same for you. And I know if the card is solvable or not.
All right, so give me an example of how you do this backwards. I don't understand that.
So you would say 6 times 4 is 20. So you would tap the card and say 6 times 4 is 24.
There's no 4 here. Do it on this card.
No. There is a 4. Listen. So the last step is going to be 6 times 4 is 24. Step 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. Step 2, 5 minus 1 is 4. Step 3, 6 times 4 is 24.
Oh, I see. Damn, that's kind of like complicated. My brain's got to get used to that.
But I thought that's why we think the same way about ST, because we have like these similar connections in our childhood.
I mean, maybe, under the hood. But, yeah.
I got crazy. One more. It's a 3-pointer.
No!
It's easy,
Stop making it harder, dude.
This one's easy. It's a 3-pointer. I promise.
Oh,
look, I already solved it.
Bro.
I already solved it.
No. Well, because you had time to prepare these cards.
No, I could throw any 4 numbers. I don't even need a card. I could solve it for you, probably.
All right, let me see here. Ah, you fucker.
So here's a technique. You can LCD it, right? So I'll give you a hint. So when you LCD, you're trying to get to 24. There's several multiples of 24 on this card. You got 4s and you got a 3. Let's just go with the 3 since there's only 1. So you already got the 3. To get to 24, you need an 8. Is there any way to get to an 8 with other 3 numbers?
Yes, 4 plus 4.
No, but 3 numbers, not 2 numbers.
Oh, 3 numbers. My bad.
Damn, I'm teaching you tech now. Hold
on. So what did you say at first?
So your brain is trying to get to 24 as quick as possible. Yeah. So you already found a multiple of 24, which is a 3. So just take the 3 out of the equation. So put the 3 to the
side. So between 9, 4, and 4, is there any way to get to 8?
Yes.
Was that your? Yeah, there is. Okay. So, what do we got here?
Damn, I'm so sad to see my hero struggle like this.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm tired. I'm old. Don't judge me. And now you got me all fucking. It's like a. Man, see, I can't even remember words right now. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm about to 3-0 you, and then you're gonna come back with the 4-3. All right, so
I'm tired of thinking about this. Just school me right now.
I'll give you the answer. It's 4 divided by 4 is 1. 9 take away 1 is 8. That's how you get your 8. Yeah, see. So when you're not simplifying right now.
No, I'm not. I'm totally not.
All right, hold on. I got another card or two. Have you ever seen this in a tournament?
No.
So this was in round 4 of my tournaments. I think back then, like in your time, they weren't doing this. So they would put down these cards that are in a sleeve that blocks out one number. So you have to find one number that satisfies both cards individually. That's fucking hard.
Yeah. I don't even want to look at this.
I already got the answer. All right, whatever. But I don't know. It would be fun to play this with you one day. And then how about this guy? Last one.
I kind of remember this one back in the day. I thought I remember this being an easy one.
This one?
Yeah. Wait, is it not an easy one? I don't know. Why are you still doing this to me? Okay, I got it.
It's a 2-pointer. Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah. Do I have it? Right? 7, 4, 5. No, maybe not. Nah, I don't got it. Fuck you. I'm done.
All right. I'll tell you. This shit was on the box art. It's actually not solvable.
Okay.
So in tournaments, they would have cards that are not solvable because the meta was just tap the card and solve it on the spot.
Yeah.
Some people used to get eager and hit a card and get a penalty when they couldn't solve it.
Yeah, I don't think this
existed. So you have to be able to identify. Yeah. All right. The meta was a little bit different.
Yeah. But I remember there were cards that had duplicate numbers on it. And I remember those being easier, probably because I recognized them faster.
Well, there's patterns in the whole thing. Well, anyway, now maybe that's motivation for you to get Game 24 and level up in it. It'd be fun to do a Game 24
I'd rather play Egyptian
tournament.
Rat Screw.
Oh, but you're too good at that. Oh, shit.
But you can get good at that. Like, I don't know.
No, it's all reactions. All right,
well, yeah.
So I could tell the story real quick. So we were at TOL1, and this is Mao's first time coming to the US, and we were chilling in the hotel room, and there's footage of this on YouTube. And Damdai goes, "Yo, let's play Egyptian Rat Screw." What the hell is that? Some card game. It's kind of like Slapjack. I felt like I don't remember. What are the rules?
Yeah, so it's not. I mean, I remember this and Spit were the games that we played as kids.
Yeah.
But Egyptian Rat Screw was more like one-on-one competitive. So you split up the cards evenly. You don't look at your cards. And then each player, clockwise or whatever, you put down cards very quickly. If there's a match, so like if there's 2 6s or whatever, the first person to slap the pile gets the cards. And the first person to get all the cards wins. So it's a total reaction game, which I love. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Very simple.
Yeah, it's a simple game to get into, but if you have something
there
extra...
are variations of it. So you can do what's called sandwiches. So if there's like a 6 and then not a 6 and then a 6, you can slap if you want to play that way. But we usually start with the simplified, where it's just a straight match.
Well, anyhow, when we were playing, you were beating Mao and I like pretty handily, and I think my reactions are decent, like slightly above average. I don't think they're like super amazing, but to beat Mao, who we thought had like super amazing reactions in ST, because it's a simple game to grasp, and you were just like bodying us was pretty crazy. So I think if you did one of those reaction tests, your reaction is definitely higher than the average person, which allows you to be able to do certain things in Street Fighter. I mean, I don't know what you think. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I think that if we gave you and Mao more time to play this game and get comfortable with it, you'd get better. Yeah, but
there's still a ceiling as far as like what your max.
Oh, for sure.
Your maximum reaction time can be, because some people's brains
true story. I've never lost in this game. So I'm always trying to find like people that play it. And actually, relatively recently, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, I found out my cousin played the game, and he's like super competitive about it. And he was good, but not good enough.
Ooh,
so I'm always on the lookout to find somebody who plays this game. So anybody out there who plays this, let me know, and we'll meet at a tournament.
Damdai can program it in a day so we can play it online, but it'll be different, obviously, different rule set. But
It needs better netcode than Fightcade. It needs better netcode than fighting games.
We need a run ahead 4 frames. But I remember Mike Gidd, just to bring him up again, one of the hungriest players at that time in like the 2010s decade. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, "Yo, what's Damdai doing different?" What do you mean? He goes, he sees things. So, you know, anytime after a set, like, I'll be like, all right, who wants to talk about what just happened? Like, I'm always down to talk about the game, right? He goes, what happened? I'm like, oh, he's just, you know, yeah, his reactions. He goes, no, like, he's doing something. He can see the first frame of my fireball when it started. Like, he's cheating. Like, he's borderline saying that you're cheating, or you know some tech that no one else knows. My bro, he's just holding up forward when he... Like, yeah, he sees your pattern.
I remember like the button presses I would do, like after throwing a fireball, I'd just be pressing random buttons. He'd be like, yeah, what is that? What is that? What are you doing? It's like some secret codes and shit.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Mike.
Yo, and he was convinced that there was something you were doing. It was almost like a conspiracy. Like, I'm not gonna let out the secret. Like, yeah. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, it's just it's a Damdai thing. Like, he just has this ability to react to this shit. Like, not all people can do that. He goes, no, like he's doing something exactly what you said. Like button presses in between moves. It's helping his safe jumps.
But Mike was getting it. He was improving. He was getting good.
I mean, he got hungry enough to actually beat you 3-0 at a tournament once. He didn't end up winning that tournament, but to beat you 3-0, I think an old Ryu mirror match is that's intense.
Yeah, that was wild. I think he was like the first from our crew to beat me in tournament.
Yep.
So that's pretty good achievement by him. Too bad he had kids and fucked up his life.
Hey, man. One day for you too, I hope. But
no, but hey, you're making it work. But Mike, he totally dipped out.
Yeah, shout out to Mike. His birthday passed a month ago as well, about a month ago. Shout out to Mike Gage. Hopefully we can, you know, hang out with him. It was cool. One time I went by his place and because he has a lot of hobbies like you, actually, different hobbies. Like, well, he has a telescope, so he likes looking at the stars and stuff. But
nice. Yeah,
so we head out there once and like to his place. He goes, yo, you want to go scuba diving or surfboarding? Like, I got my gear. Like, what?
What the fuck?
Yeah, but I so regret not going though. But
damn, that would have been an experience. But yeah, that's a tough motivational hurdle to get over, especially in the East Coast waters.
Yeah,
because that shit is always cold.
I came here to play ST. He goes, I got extra bodysuits. It's cool, yo. We'll just go surfing. I'm like, yo, this dude is wild. Yeah, Mike, man,
it's
that's
cool,
my
man.
boy.
We'll take our shirts off. It'll be nice.
No, but yo, he had the six pack. Like, you can see it through his t-shirt. That dude was fit. Sorry, I just got to mention, but Mike was a fit dude.
Rainbow Kappa.
Yep.
Yeah, but I actually got my scuba diving certificate when I was a kid. My mom like pushed me into that, and I remember scuba diving in the east, the Sound or whatever they call that water. And man, that shit was like, I'm happy that I did it, but at the time we had to wake up at like 6 a.m., get on this boat, put on the wetsuit, and then drop into this fucking murky, cold water. Like, I can't believe I did that shit. It was crazy. But
your brain was wired different.
Yeah, but yeah, that was back in the day. So yeah, too bad I didn't go scuba diving with Mike.
Yeah, that would have been a fun time.
Yeah, we could have went scuba diving, some night diving, and then just look at the stars.
Yeah, man. New Jersey's a spot. Because he lived like in the middle of the woods and shit too. His area was nice. I like it.
And in that moment, I would have revealed the secrets to Street Fighter.
Yeah. Mike, you missed your chance, bro.
Yeah.
But you do have another hobby that you brought up, and it's art. And I remember you kind of got into that out of nowhere, actually. And after maybe a couple of months, you were showing me, you're like, hey, check out, like, you brought your tablet, you brought your iPad where you draw on to Spring Series. You go, check it out, look at like my bird anatomy. And, you know, like, you do realistic drawings. And I actually have an example of one of your artworks here on the screen.
Oh, shit. Please don't. So the problem with these is that, so when you're getting good at art, you like you appreciate, like you yourself, the artist, appreciates your like improvements, but when you go back and look at it, like it looks whack. Like the better you get, everything behind you does not look good anymore. So like me looking at this, like I hate looking at it. But at the time, I was like, I felt good about it. It was fun busting out these portraits. Like I did this in, I think, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was a very fast turnaround. So I was kind of new to doing portraits at the time. And like it just started clicking. Like I was, getting the relative likeness there. So yeah, I mean, it was fun doing this project. But yeah, like every artist listening to this knows that looking back at your past art is not always like of the fondest memories. But with that said, you do reach a point where it's like, okay, that was pretty good. Like that was pretty good. Like looking back at some of my art now, I feel better about it now than I did at the time, which, motivates me to start drawing again. Cause I actually haven't drawn in quite a few months just because other things have been going on.
I mean, this should be like watching your match against NKI again, like the NWC. Like it should feel like that. We're like, damn, I was able to do this, at that time. Even though, like, obviously now your skill is higher. I mean, if you look at like some of the image that you captured, like I think look at Tech Monkey. He's
yeah, I think Lee's came out good. Yeah, I can see Tech there. It's kind of small on my screen. Let me see if I can expand this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I thought Arthur's came out good.
Yeah, Arthur's is amazing.
Yeah, Arthur's was good. Yours isn't bad.
That was me out of the hospital, my big beard.
Yeah, but I think in particular, I liked, like from a technical aspect, I like Lee's, I like Arthur's, I like Josh's. He'll be like on the next level down. Mike Idge's ended up coming out like an Incredibles type, like comic book vibe. Like I didn't even finish
it shows him though, like he's looking at you. He's looking over Mars. He's looking at you like, what's he doing? I like it. It tells the character. Yeah.
Yeah, I got an Atari like derpy face there.
No, he's a Pixar character.
Yeah.
He's a fairy tale.
Prince Atari.
Yeah, young Mega Man with the slightly less grown afro.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Jim Sea's like, I don't know. I think you like captured a moment in time, and this was really good tournament, nice poster, and the artwork is great. So
yeah, I wish I was able to do more of the original style. I forget the artist who did that, but I definitely wasn't up to that task at the time.
Oh, like the swiggly art style. Was it Akimon?
Yeah.
Did he do it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like it looks like just scribble and shit, but like there's real technique there.
Yeah.
So shout outs to him.
But yeah, you definitely put in more work than we all made it seem, or than I made it seem. So I'm sorry about that. But
yeah, it's all right.
For the game.
Yeah, art is a long. It is rewarding when you get there, but man, do you have to put in the time. Like it's crazy. Years and years and years to get to a level where you'll be satisfied. And then even then, I'm not sure if you'll be satisfied. But for me, the end goal of art would be getting to like a Kim Jong-yi level. He's a Korean artist that's able to draw like anything out of imagination. And he just does it in just like a cool, loose kind of comic book style. Super fun to watch him create. It's very inspiring.
They should drop a link to that in the chat.
All right,
so we can check that out. But all right, I just have a couple more things that I want to bring up since we were, already talking about it. So if you can view my screen,
okay.
Check this shit out. You know what this is?
Is this MWC?
Nah, I think this is Chinatown.
Okay, I know it's not MWC because it doesn't have the hand of God light reflection in the top of the screen.
But this is David Doyle Ryu against your Zangief.
Wow, this is crazy. What's with the aspect ratio? Or is that just because the top is cut off, or?
I don't know. Maybe it's correct. I just like maximize it, but
okay, it's got to be correct because this was hand recorded.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's weird there. But let's see this match. Okay. It's my Geef days, man. Yeah, that was
look
white.
I missed medium to sweep. Oh, you got the DPs.
This was white T-shirt days
Oh,
for me. If people don't know, I went through a phase where I only wore white T-shirts.
it's
So I
your
had to pick
Skype.
the
It's your Skype photo.
yeah. I had to pick the white geef, of course.
Ooh. Yo, Hajiki screws back then.
Damn, dude, what the fuck?
You had those back then.
Didn't have the 55s though.
Yeah, no, you didn't know about that lore yet. So, yeah, this was like Chinatown Fair era.
Damn, that's cool.
That I wanted to say. So definitely wanted to dig this up as like this was one of the earliest tournaments, and you can see your perseverance, almost a whole match holding forward. And
What
you
year
know,
was this? Is there a date on the video?
I would have to look it up, but I think it's on your YouTube channel. So
Okay.
yeah, you know what? It'll be captioned, so we'll see it when.
Yeah, this was before cell phone video. This was
the handy
when,
cams.
This is when you had to buy like a specific device just for like YouTube video recording.
All right, I got another one here. This is a couple years later. This is when we were in Japan.
Okay. Yeah, I love
for
this
TOL
one.
one. Yeah, you already know. This match is pretty sick. So I think I made a comment about nice safe jump. I made a comment about you. You know, when that trip in Japan was when you played your best. I felt like in all time, and you were like, "What?" Like in the comments, you're like, "What?" But I think you channeled something here that like on this trip,
something was clicking.
Yeah.
Specifically with the Sago tick.
Yeah, this is you against
which
Nuki.
hopefully you'll see a little bit later.
Yeah, so it's double KO. Yeah, it's gonna be double KO. Yeah, this is at GSV, and I think you were playing on the main setup that was also displaying on the screen, if I recall. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. But there's like one setup that's on a projector. And yeah, you know what? It was because Nuki was playing Muteki, and I think eventually you jumped in.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but anyway, fierce DP. Let's go.
Yeah, but I'm doing the 360 DPOS there.
And actually, another fun fact is we lost to Autotune. Actually, he OCV'd us when we were so like, because Immortal was close to beating him. Even I was like close to beating him. And you know, when Autotune got the OCV, and eventually I think they got second place. Oh wow, they got second place at that tournament. Noho had said that Autochun traveled to Tokyo to ask Nuki how to fight Hawk.
Oh fuck, dude. That sucks.
Yeah. So like Autochun didn't like actually know.
Wow, man.
It was one
research.
way or the other, but yeah, it was something like that. And I remember Noho saying, like, he was telling us, I'm like, damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh, here we go. You had to wait till the very end of this video to get the goods.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, those weren't even block Sako ticks. Like those are harder because you have to have that motion inputted by the time that your jab whiffs. So yeah, I was flowing at that point.
Yeah, that's the moment where everything's working out perfect. Because sometimes against Chun, what you want to do is SPD with neutral. Like you want to end it in neutral, and then if the spinning bird kick or up kicks come out, you land with the jumping fierce. You know what I'm talking about? That's normally what you would want, so you can stuff it and go to another one. But you're actually doing.
I thought you were talking to like chat at the moment there, and I forgot that they can't respond. So I was just like, I was waiting. I was like, who are you talking to? But,
but you were actually doing the, beating the startup of the spinning bird kick, and you got it twice in a row at the end over there. It's pretty sick.
I like Fred's reation during that video. I don't know if you had the audio playing.
He's like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, man. And then, so actually, I have some community questions that I think may lead to another video that we can watch. So let's just ask some of the community questions real quick. Alex, he wanted to ask your honest thoughts on HDR, Ultra Street Fighter 30th, and how they impacted you in the community.
So like all of those, HDR and 30th anniversary?
Yeah, I guess because Ultra Street Fighter 2 kind of just recently happened and didn't.
Yeah, that one didn't even register when you just said
I'm the world champion, and y'all got to hold that shit. But yeah.
Yeah, hold that. I didn't even want to contest it. Okay, so HDR, that game came out pretty much right when I came on the scene. I think that game came out in late 2008. So I do have fond memories of that because it was excellent netcode, which was revolutionary at the time. So like, how awesome was it that we can play ST online? So that was very cool. And then all of the tournaments were for that game, pretty much when I started going to tournaments. So yeah, in that respect, I have fond memories of it. As I began to learn the subtleties of Street Fighter 2 more, I began to see the flaws in HDR, and then like a whole bunch of drama kind of started at the time with like Snake Eyes and stuff, and a post of mine on SRK about rocket powered aluminum bats and stuff like that, and Baby Zone. And that was just basically because Zangief did have simplified inputs. His 360 was essentially a half circle. So people started comparing Snake Eyes to Pony and Gunze, saying he was like just as good. And I wanted to jump in there and not say that he wasn't just as good, just that you couldn't compare based on the HDR performance because things were very simplified. So that's where that whole drama started, if the listeners are familiar with that. But yeah, as far as HDR, it was good for rejuvenating the Super Turbo scene. So I hear, because I wasn't around for the Dark Ages. So from my perspective, just coming in when, like at that MWC even, like there was no HDR there, and there was a healthy number of players, like a lot of top players were there. So that was kind of the beginning of my experience. But the hype that HDR brought at EVO and stuff, I can't discredit that. Like that was awesome. My first EVO was an HDR tournament. But like in retrospect now with hindsight and stuff, I don't like the simplified motions. I don't like the easier chicken wing. I don't like the fake moves. I think that's always like really scrubby to put in the game.
Fake slide, so legit.
Yeah, fake slide is scrubby, and the fake fireball is like super scrubby. I feel bad for all of the non-fireball characters that had to deal with that. The art style just did not work, in my opinion. And then if you wanted to go back to classic sprites, you were still stuck with the new backgrounds, which is just like not good. So
yeah, I mean, quite a bit of negatives there.
Yeah. I think I just appreciate the whole package of ST, and HDR just kind of felt like a shoddy kind of patchwork of things that didn't work in my opinion. So that's where HDR is. Revolutionized. The netcode was fantastic. Button config was fantastic. It was a good port of Super Turbo. It's just too bad we didn't get the original backgrounds in there. I think that would have been huge in its longevity.
Well, how do you think Capcom should treat, this is another question also from Alistair Alex, but how should they treat 2X? What kind of treatment? Or should Capcom just leave it alone now?
All right. Well, I didn't get into the other games. Do I want to address the other games in the previous question?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I just do that real quick. So USF2, I did not play ever. I never played that game. So I can't really comment on it. From what I've seen, obviously, Violent Ken is fucking retarded. Was there Evil Ryu? I don't know if he was as stupid. It's pretty much the Violent Ken memes I saw. Akuma's in there. The speed looks weird. I don't like the tech throw mechanic. They changed it to the more modern, like complete tech. There's no one takes damage or anything, and that changes the meta like huge in that game. Yep. And I don't have enough experience to know if it's like for the better or worse. I can only imagine it's for the worse. So yeah, that's it for USF2, and the fact that it only came out on the Switch, which pretty much 100% of the people are playing on Wi-Fi. That game was just DOA. And then there's 30th, which I think is good. I think it's a great port. It's got good netcode with Angel Killer's fix to fix the speed. So I think that's a good option if you don't have a board, a CPS2 board, or you don't want to play on Fightcade for some reason. Like obviously, if you're playing on PC, Fightcade 2, hands down, there's no other option. But if you're on PS4 or whatever else 30th anniversary is on, that's a good option.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much like HDR. The timing for HDR was just right as far as like getting people interested in playing Street Fighter 2.
It was just right and just wrong because it was also right when Street Fighter 4 came out.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even right now, like the timing of Fightcade 2 and the Angel Killer patch and
we're definitely seeing a what is it, a resurgence or like
that was the word I had in mind.
yeah, it's a good time for online play, which has probably been brought about by coronavirus, unless it's a crazy coincidence, in which case that's cool.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah,
by the FGC Illuminati. No, I'm just kidding. But
yeah, the Fightcade fucking developers released coronavirus.
Oh no!
So they can get all the users because Fightcade is blown up, man. I was on there the other day and there was like over 2,000 people connected to the server, which is just wild. I think that's way more than GGPO or Supercade ever had.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, and I think now it's so much easier to actually connect and talk about the game. Like back then we didn't have Discord. If I wanted to learn something about the game, it was like, hey, like we're at the arcade playing now. We happen to meet on a Friday night. Can we talk about that one thing that happened? Or but now information is so easy to get. Or I could be like, hey, like you're across country, but let's log on to Fightcade and test this one thing out real quick. It's
being able to play you across the country, being able to play the Mexican players, because that was not an option before Fightcade 2, in my personal experience. So now that we can do that, like that's great. Granted, I haven't played offline in forever, so maybe I if I play offline, I'll be like, damn, it is quite different. But I can say playing online right now, it does not. It feels like I'm playing offline, playing you guys.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's been cool.
It's definitely a bit different. Like, I mean, I want to say. It's hard to say it's a lot different. It's because I think our measurable standard decreased a little bit since this is all we have. But on the flip side, it's so much better than everything else that we had previously. So somewhere in the middle. But yeah, like this is definitely playable. Like I'm fine playing online, but of course when things open back up.
Yeah, these are the three main criteria that I look at is can I DP clause jump in? And that's kind of related to like input delay and stuff. And is there any rollback? If there is no rollback, right, that's amazing. And there virtually is no rollback playing you guys. And then am I able to DP clause jump-ins? And I think that I am most of the time. And the input delay is good, especially with the run ahead. And if you play full screen, that shaves off a few more milliseconds. So yeah, it's a great time to be playing fighting games online. These fighting games on Fightcade 2.
Shout outs to Fightcade, Hoff and Sean for putting in that work. Get Damdai on the payroll. Give him a day. That's all it takes. Give him a day.
Anything you want, any feature.
And you can implement your Tonamento, FGC. You can literally do all that shit. But anyhow, last question from Alistair was, what's your biggest advice for a new generation of SC players? I think there's an opportunity to develop them now with all the tools that we have. So what's your advice for them? So
we pretty much already covered this. I would say it's the LCD. Just simplify your game. Like just look for 2 or 3 elements that you need to do in a matchup. And that's it. Take all other moves off the table. Just don't even think about them. And I think that helps you in many ways in that you don't have to think about things, right? You don't have to think about as many things. Does this normal? Do I need to know how to use this normal? No, just look at a video of a player that does simplify the match and is successful in the match. And you have your map. You have your roadmap for that matchup.
Yeah, and it's not like you don't. Yeah, go ahead. You still got your thought.
Well, no, I was going to say like that's my advice there. It helps with the allocation, the focus, because now you only have to keep these 3 buttons in mind, basically, these 3 moves. So it helps in many aspects, being able to simplify your game.
Yeah, I was going to say you kind of took it to a different level of that because, like, since you mostly play old characters, well, recently you're sprinkling your new Ryu back in, but with the old characters, like, you lose a super, you lose tech throw. Yeah. I mean, obviously you gain other things at the cost of that, but yeah, like, you can clearly understand Damdai's play style with it's reflected in the character choice, and you know, everyone should kind of have something that describes their gameplay. Like if I say DGV, everyone is already like imagining his play style in their brains. They're already seeing like
short super, and just very like energetic, fast paced.
Yeah, you can see the movements. Where we say John Choi, Old Sagat, like there's a way, like you're already going to start picturing these things. Like they have a distinct style, and you know. Right.
Well, I think in that sense, John Choi is to Alex Valle as I am to DGV. I think that we're kind of the counterparts there.
Yeah, so those are like the two extreme ways of playing, and you know, maybe everyone else is somewhere in the in between. It doesn't mean that your play style is less effective. It means like develop your character, become like express yourself through that character. Like don't focus on like mimicking something that you saw in a match so much. I mean, obviously, unless you have an understanding of it and you're trying to do it, but really just like minimize those errors and like your risk reward, have that good balance. It's hard to say, but I think really just think about like what you're actually doing and how you're expressing yourself, and you can get a better result.
Yeah, I mean, there's a road to success with the RTSD method out there, the rush that shit down, Alex Valle method. So like you don't have to do my simplified fundamentals. I guess there's two types of people in this world, and whichever appeals to you more, that's the road you go down.
I vote Papa Valle, or Uncle Valle, or whatever they call him. Papa Valle. But yeah, I mean, just everyone should seek that within themselves. So what's that dude say in the Street Fighter movie? It's like, what do you see in front of your fists? You know, the Street Fighter, the animated movie where
it's been a while.
Sensei. Yeah, sorry, I can't get the references all the time. All right, sorry, just a few more questions, and then we can watch one more quick video. But
all right.
Sean FPA asks, who are your biggest rivals in the US and Japan?
Everybody knows this one in the US for sure. Afro Legends, hands down. Ultra Combo has been making a play for that in recent time. It's too bad that like there's really just no scenes anymore. So it's not as hype as it could be if it was back in the day. But hopefully that comes back after coronavirus and like we can really get some good rivalries going again. But yeah, that's it, hands down in the US. And then in Japan, it's just like because of the scenes are so different, as we talked about earlier, there's really no way I can pinpoint a rival there. Like I think a rival has to be somebody who's closer to your range and skill, somebody that you can play more often so that you can measure your growth relative to the other player.
Yeah.
So that doesn't happen outside of the US. It's so rare that we go there, you know, once every few years. It's impossible to have a rival under those conditions.
It is possible to go viral if you win a tournament in Japan, but yeah.
Yeah, but again, it hasn't happened yet. That's, you know, it's so out of the realm of possibility. It's like people like to say, you know, anything's possible, but it's so improbable. Like, sure, it's possible, but it's not probable.
Hey, man, Team Lightning, my team, we got close. I mean, AFO was fucking bodying everybody, but
right. But then that close. Goes again. That goes to the team tournament, right? It muddies the whole who's good, who's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just again like in the moment you can just channel your energy somewhere where it's like everything's working your way. Again, what you experienced at MWC in that room, you were the guy. You know what I mean? Like you were the MVP. You channeled into something.
Yeah.
What was your best win?
Well, I guess I'll say the most memorable for me, where I walked away feeling, you know, the maximum endorphins, was probably that MWC team tournament performance. That's up there. The SF 25th anniversary for sure. That's probably number one. 30th was pretty amazing, even though I didn't win. I felt good to do as good as I did. Like, I didn't think I would do that well. I thought Afro was just going to body me, and that would be it. And he did body me in winners, but I adapted in losers, I guess, and then had a pretty cool run there. I mean, a lot of my early tournament wins, like a lot of it was pretty much exclusively the Philadelphia tournaments, the Big E tournaments, the NECs, the Winter Brawls, the Summer Jams. I was kind of dominating that scene for a few years. So I don't really remember the earlier ones because it just became kind of like, I just became used to winning those, you know, not to sound like a dick or whatever. But yeah, I mean, if I just had to pick one, it's going to be the 25th anniversary. Just the setting, you know, the audience, and that it was just like focused on this game. And then, you know, just like like 4 games, right? It was just focused on that. There was nothing else going on. No other majors, people shouting for another game in the background. The level of competition there, even though it was on PS3 HDR, it still felt good from my point of view. I was still able to do what I needed to do execution wise. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good feeling winning that.
Yeah, it was a pretty stacked tournament. Shout outs to all the guys that made it to that. I think it was a top 8 or top 16. Yeah, 16 maybe.
No, it was 8.
Top 8. Yeah, I remember like Shotas all day. There was I forget the.
Yeah,
he played Cammy against you.
Fuzzy. Yeah, Fuzzy was a top European player back in the day. He beat Orf to qualify for that tournament.
Oh shit, that's right.
That gives you a sense of his ability. Yeah. Haven't seen his name since. It's been a long time.
I think you retired him.
Yeah, he did the Jimmy Bones, right? He qualified. He qualified for a big tournament, and that was it.
No, Jimmy, we need you back.
Yeah, come on, Jimmy.
Come on, Jimmy. What was your paycheck? How much did you collect?
So with the qualifiers
what paid
combined,
for your new home?
Yeah, the qualifiers combined. The New York qualifier, which was crazy hype, even though the fucking monitors were horribly laggy and shit. It's probably only hype because I won. If I lost, I'd be like, man, that tournament was fucking whack. But the prize for that was $1,500, and then the prize for the final was 35, so $5,000 in total, which I think is the most for
good money.
Well, after, you know, before Spring Series came along, that was the most.
Well, now with, you know, Maturino Cup, sorry, quick shill, but now with Maturino Cup, we're going to have qualifiers for ST, and, you know, it's going to be hopefully big money on the line. That's going to be exciting. So even though it's online, there's a competitive edge.
Yeah, I don't know. Online's cool, man. Even though I lost this last tournament we had, like, I don't feel salty about it. It was still, I'm salty that it was at fucking 3 a.m. I hope they can be earlier next time.
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll definitely make it, because for me, I think Fridays are good. I can do stuff anytime Fridays. So yeah, we'll definitely shift the time back quite a bit for the next one. Sorry for anyone.
Yeah, not to take away anything from Okudo, because you still have to be like pretty good to beat me, I'd say, even if I'm not, you know, at my best. But like dropping the combos, like the jump jab into Tatsu and then nothing after, and like the fucked up cross ups, and even just landing a regular jumping combo and then missing the low forward and then just getting a fireball. Like going back and watching it, it was pretty whack, but hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes with the nerves, those things happen too. Like this is the first time of all the online tournaments that we've done so far where you had to come back from losers like a bit earlier on. It wasn't like...
Yeah, well, that's not exactly true. The first New Legacy tournament, like every one of these tournaments you guys have thrown, I've been up against the ropes at some point or the other. Some point or another. Like the first one, Real Decoy put me in losers.
But he put you in losers.
That was in winners
grand
final,
finals.
Right?
Oh, winners final. Okay.
That was in winners final. Yeah. So yeah, I was on the ropes then, and then in the next tournament, I think. Damn, what happened with that one? I don't remember that one, but I think the one after that, Scuzz came pretty close. He had me on the ropes. Twice he did, like, because in this last tournament he did too. So shout out to
Scuzz bucket, man. That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, so he had me on the ropes there, and I think Okudo did too. Like, yeah, I could have been out of that tournament, or I could have been put in losers.
Oh, yeah, the Fei
Right?
Long shit.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah.
god.
I had that clutch DP, and if I had not had that, that would have been it.
And then low forward super.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so I was on the ropes there, and then this last tournament was like super stacked. All of those Mexican guys, like they've really leveled up. So fighting any one of them, I feel like I'm on the ropes.
Actually, the whole top
H0, Hakuto.
The whole top 8 was pretty legit. I want to say it. You know, we got to see Blaze Donuts in there, and he had a good showing too. So.
Yeah, and I think X64 too would you know, be as threatening as those other players for me. It's just the matchup that makes it not as threatening. Because like those other the Mexican guys, man, they're not fucking around, dude. They're right to that top 4.
All right, I'm gonna have to drop the mic, I think, and start entering these, and you know, put people in their place now. Just playing.
I'd love to have you in there. It would just be that much more hype.
I gotta see if there's a way I can juggle. Like, it feels good to be behind the scenes for once and really try to like make the hype matches, like what Karopi did for TOL1 with Mao versus Kusamundo.
There is something to be said for that. Just sitting back and just kind of, you know, just watching the show, and I respect that. But as a competitor and as a spectator, I think we'd like to have you in there.
I'll have to think about it. I just remember after that tournament, I went to Karopi when he gave me my trophy, and I was like, yo, I'm spitting bars. But, and I told Karopi, and I told him, I was like, bro, that was the absolute best set of Street Fighter that's ever been recorded. I want you to know that. And it was. And I'd say the one after that would be Kusamundo versus Matsun, which we watched on the previous episode.
Yep.
That one was, again, like, holy shit, like some of the best like Street Fighter that's ever been recorded. And I want to be able to, you know, be one of the guys that can make something like that happen.
Yeah.
Because,
man, Kusamundo always brings the hype, huh?
Yeah, that's what happens when you play, you know, not top tier, and you know, you show your tenaciousness. What are you eating? Wheat Thins?
I am. Sorry, I was gonna warn the chat here. I'm fucking starving because we've been doing this for over 2 hours already.
Sorry.
So I am eating Wheat Thins actually. Yeah, no, that's all right. I'm having fun talking to you here, so we can go as long. I forgot I had the snack right next to me, so
Wheat Thins and carrots.
Yeah, and water.
I mean, I still got my Dr. Pepper. I'm chilling.
Dude, I fucking LCD'd my diet.
The minimal calories required to sustain healthy living. But yeah, for me, I think this is like a new golden era, kind of, potentially, even though it's mostly online right now. Between having, you know, and again, like slightly chilling myself, the fact that I can talk to people now and let people like hear our conversations about the game and why we got into it, and how there's tournaments and people streaming and
listen,
you know,
man,
new tech, Fightcade.
Yeah, it has the ingredients. You have the hype matches, you have the prize money, and you have the good conditions. I mean, the good netcode. So yeah, if anyone's on the fence out there, like fucking Josh C, just play online already, man. It's not bad. It's good. Marsgatti,
we're just chilling.
It's good, man. It's fun. Yeah, just join the calls, you know, vibe with us, play with us. It's a good time. Consider it.
All right. Let's vibe out with this last video I wanted to share. It's queued up.
Oh, shit.
Now, this is the final match, actually, and it looks so fast. Like, honestly,
man, heartbreaker.
If I slow this shit down frame by frame, like, there's so much actually going on, especially if you watched the rest of the games. Just so much adaptation. So, like, you guys aren't even thinking anymore. Like, I can see there's no thinking.
Yeah, I was flowing in this. It sounds bad, but it's actually a good thing. Yeah, I was flowing this tournament for sure. I mean, if you watch like my execution, the way that I was getting the anti-cross up DPs and stuff, and like it was pretty good. I must say.
I mean, definitely watching this, there might be things where there are 50-50 and you guessed wrong. Those aren't mistakes, in my opinion. A 50-50 that you guessed wrong isn't a mistake. So there were not many mistakes in this set, or at least in this match. Like, it's all reads and like just jumping that super and getting the block, punishing the lightning legs after his recovery, uppercutting. Like this shit is fucking crazy. You guys are literally playing the game at like its peak.
It was fun,
crazy.
man. Yeah, and people might shit on it because it was 30th anniversary, but I think that's a good port. And I don't know why, but for some reason I'm not affected by these different versions. I play just as good as I do on arcade. I don't know if it's because of my LCD style or my character or whatever, but keep in mind, Nuki dominated this tournament to get here, right? He had to beat Afro Legends, he had to beat Tomo or whoever else he played. So, and he beat me. So it's not like it's, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's not like it's completely invalidated because it's 30th anniversary, right? You still got to perform, you still got to execute. I think it was a hype tournament.
It might be bad that I'm showing a match where you lose as
right.
The last game.
It was a good match.
Yeah, but I think the point is that, win or lose, the fact that you're able to play and show who you are and play at that level it's amazing. And it was really a pixel difference between win or lose. Like that's how close it got. So I don't want anyone.
A little lore here before you cut away. This was the tournament that I decided to start shaving my head.
A little bit of lore there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get that out of there.
It's interesting. I think it's an interesting bit of information.
All right, now we're back. All right, technical difficulties. So,
a couple of technical monkeys over here.
Yeah, we're running at 58 megahertz. So Makiri asked a question about if you're serious about moving to Japan.
Yeah, so me and my wife are definitely serious about it at some point. That time scale has been pushed back because of coronavirus, and we just bought a house. So I think realistically, in the near future, maybe even starting next year, whenever the stuff goes away, is to do some sort of like timeshare thing where we'll spend 2 or 3 months of the year in Japan. And hopefully that would be enough to give us our fix of that, because we both love Japan. I mean, obviously she's from there and I try to go every year. So maybe that's a good like middle ground until we're able to make the full-time move, whenever that may be.
I mean, I think even a couple of weeks or a couple of months in a row in Japan, like imagine if you were playing Makiri every day for like a couple of months, as well as all the other Japanese players, how much you guys would level up. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And just like even ST aside, just like Japan, like Tokyo is such like a livable city. I grew up in New York, but the vibes of New York and Tokyo are so different. I really like being out and about and socializing in Tokyo, and New York I don't. So I don't know what it is about that. Maybe it's like Tokyo, it's more, or the areas we go to, it's like it's more for people, right? It's more for walking. Where it feels like in New York, it's more for the cars. And like the people just get like a little sidewalk. But there's so many little areas and dips and stuff in Japan where it's just cool. Like these alleyways, they just call to you to like go down and explore them. I mean, the restaurant scene is cooler. How you get like your own private room sometimes or whatever it may be. Just the vibe. I like it so much more.
I think a lot of people would feel that way. It's kind of a dream for so many people that play this game to, oh man, I wish I could just live in Japan. And definitely recommend visiting. If you do go, get the Japan Rail Pass, get yourself a pocket Wi-Fi, just shell out and get all of it to enjoy it maximally.
Yep.
All right, cool. And just something that we talked about earlier today, or someone we talked about earlier today, Nohoho. If you just had any words you want to share about him. Unfortunately, we lost Noho a few years back. Really good friend and someone who, we talked about pretty much almost every episode so far. So I just want to know if you can talk about what kind of person he was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wish that didn't happen. I wish he was still around. to experience all of this with us and grow old with us and see our growth as players, because he kind of took all of us under his wing when we first started. I know he was me and Riz's kind of like, I said it before, but our spirit guide when we first entered this scene. Yeah, I mean, he was a good person. He was fun to chill with. Amazing Blanca player. He had all the Japanese tech. He was able to read and write the language, so he was able to communicate a lot of that, back and forth, and helped bridge the scenes there. Yeah, I mean, I miss the guy. It's too bad we can't see him again.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I wish he could see like how far we've progressed. Not just like, hey, we're good at playing the game, but we kind of, took his message on really trying to communicate.
Yeah, he'd be proud for
do all
sure.
these different things. Yeah. And yeah, he's the guy who invented the unblockable Tatsu, or discovered it, because when we first went to Japan, we were able to participate in 2 GSV weeklies. Week 1, he played Blanca, and actually it just so happens he beat me at that. It was a hype match, and then I think you guys fought after, like another match or 2 after.
I remember that.
And you played Hawk, and then you beat him, but that's because like you guys just practice the match so much. And so, well, the Damdai tech, if you guys don't know, is he's just hitting low jab all day and just waiting for the uppercut on the jump in. And so you're able to do that against Noho there.
Was I using T-Hawk?
Week 2, yeah, you used T-Hawk.
Yeah, so to give you guys a sense of that, I was also able to beat Komoda in that matchup, which might seem surprising to some.
Oh yeah, well, the whole story that you're only telling the partial, the whole story for that was, it was kind of Star Cup format, so you had 3 characters.
Yeah.
So Komoda had DJ, Blanca, and maybe another DJ, another Blanca.
Yeah, 2 Blancas, 1 DJ.
Yeah, and so at that point, Damien had already lost his old Ryu and old Ken.
Yeah, because obviously I was going to play them first against 2 Blancas. I thought I was done for sure.
But he had the DJ left at the end, I think. I forget the order.
No, so I didn't beat
Komodo used it.
He beat me 2-0 with a Blanca, I believe.
Right.
And then I only had my Hawk left, and I think it went Blanca, DJ, Blanca.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And you came back with, the character that gets countered by the other 2, basically. 3-0. That's a match for the ages. Maybe we'll watch that together in a future episode and like just talk about it.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen that match. That would be fun.
You got the 0 mash grab.
Yeah,
there was one point where you got a reversal TP.
Yeah, that was
he did the
so
up ball
hype.
because he baited it. He did the up, so this guy Komoda, he baited the uppercut. You do the uppercut, he does the up ball, but he still got hit because the uppercut stays out forever.
Yeah, he said that shit's fucking stupid under his breath.
Yeah. Oh man,
that was hype though. I had never seen that before. I don't think anybody had seen that before. I remember the crowd was like, "What?"
Sick.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. But yeah, that's all thanks to the Blanca training.
Yep.
And definitely more times again we'll be talking about it. But Fred really welcomed me my first offline tournament and encouraged me to go with him to Chinatown Fair every week. And we would leave the arcade, grab coffee or grab dinner, and just talk about like super detailed things. Like why does AFO do jump back fierce when he has Dictator in the corner, but like Komoda doesn't? Like, what does he see? And I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago when I went to Japan, I fought AFO, and he did it to me. And in the arcade, I'm like, that's why he does it. And like I just thought about my conversation. Oh, it's because AFO's just thinking so far ahead. When he gets you in this pressure against Dictator in the corner, he just says jump back fierce because he's predicting your Psycho Crusher so he can stuff it and then do another jump in. And then I was just like, oh, that's why he did. Like, I just had a moment with myself. But man,
amazing.
Like, yeah,
the revelations.
So was that guy? Yeah,
he's probably the only reason I can beat Fromo.
Yeah, he definitely put us on to a lot of stuff. And also, like, he played a lot of older you against me, so I learned how to deal with unblockable Tatsu before I fought you.
Yeah, maybe we should start calling it like the NH2 Tatsu, like the Sako tick.
Yeah. Hell yeah, because he made it up. So yeah, the second week at GSV, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play Old Ryu." Why? He goes, "Because they don't know the unblockable Tatsu. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna put that." He's like, "I need to put it on the stream though," and he ended up running up against a Blanca, and unblockable Tatsu's not useful against him, and I think he lost.
Yeah.
So he was kind of kicking himself for that.
That
but,
sucks. We can call it the NH Tutsu.
Yeah. That H22. All right, guys, it was coined here first, so NH22. There you go. But yeah, I think just want to wrap it up and see if you had any shout outs you wanted to give out.
Yeah, shout outs to you and Azroix. How does he pronounce that?
Azroix.
Yeah, shout outs to you guys for doing these podcasts. They're fun to listen to. Shout outs to you and Mega Man for running those online tournaments. That's been a lot of fun. Shout outs to Art for streaming them. Shout outs to everybody for playing them. Shout outs to Mexico for leveling up as much as you have been in ST. Shout outs to X64 for consistently making the top 8s and the top 3s. Yeah. Shout outs to my wife for being cool with all of this for all these years. Am I missing anybody? I mean, shout outs to all of our crews, past, present, and future. Howard, DSP, John Rambo, Connecticut crew, Arthur, Tecmo, Mars Gotti, Mike Idge. Who am I missing there?
The Doyles.
The Doyles, Zoolander. I think I said Tech Monkey. David Doyle, Zoolander, fucking some of the new guys to the scene, like oh my god, dude, this is ridiculous. Don't be insulted, bro. Fucking Super RV. Yeah, that guy. Man, I don't want to forget anybody.
It's hard. I mean, there's a lot of people that are
and then I start forgetting
like
who I mentioned and stuff. David, of course, Atari.
Oh, hell yeah. Fucking Shenron.
Yeah, all their new generations of babies that you guys are making.
Yeah, we're all family, man, literally.
Yeah, maybe they'll be playing with us in like 10 years.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
My son doesn't learn CE first, so make him a CE monster, and then be all right.
Yeah,
skip that other stuff and just go to ST.
Start him out slow. CE's good with the training wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout outs to all you listeners and everybody who loves ST. Keep this game alive.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, this is definitely a new era, and plenty of life left in the scene.
Shout outs to
everyone in Japan.
Shout outs to space and the universe and all who dislike vegetables.
Well, you know what? In a way, you could say in a quantum realm or a parallel universe, this podcast almost never happened.
It didn't happen.
I mean, you could say that this is probably the second time that this has happened for us.
I can sense that.
In the quantum world.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Deja vu.
And then, is there anyone who you think should be on SLB in the future? Who can you think of? Obviously, we know who's next, but just pick a name, any name, something I can consider.
All right. Well, damn, I feel like I'm just going to run down like a list of names, but let me try and feel if one bubbles up to the top. What do we got here? I think Art would be good. Art's been around forever, and he's got hella stories from back in the day. I mean, the whole beginnings of Team Spooky, and I used to roll with him a lot back then, playing Street Fighter 4 and 5. I think he would be good, even though it's not like. Are you looking like specifically ST?
Well, I think season 1, I want to have a huge ST focus. Okay. But like definitely after that,
all right.
I think we should branch out and hear more FGC stories.
All right. So in that case.
But I mean, he's definitely a good one, and he's on my list.
Yeah,
so I definitely wanted to reach out to for it. So
man, this is tough.
Yeah, it would be nice if the person on the podcast, like the guest, is the one who dictates who comes next. That'd be cool, but it's also not plausible.
Yeah,
but,
that would be cool. I mean, I don't know who would like reject you about doing it.
Aw, only at the prom.
Man, I wish I had like a list of names in front of me right now.
Well, something to think about, or if anyone in the chat has like a request, yeah, definitely send them out to me or help me shill it out. But we need to hear everyone's story.
I mean, I'd be down to hear Seb's story about how he got started and all that stuff, because he's one of our newest players, I guess, relatively, or one of our youngest players, who is, not many get to rise as high as he did. So I'd like to hear his story. I nominate Seb.
And he's a bit of a lab monster himself. Like, he has like notebooks in his trunk. He has a notebook of shit in his pocket and his card. Yeah, he has notes on everything. That dude, yeah, he's interesting. All right, Ultra Combo, we coming after you.
All right,
we coming for you. Yeah, but and I guess just thank you for your time, Damien. Appreciate.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm always here for you.
Being my friend after all these years, and even with your busy schedule, with moving, you're able to make some time to share your story. And
finally found the
believe
time.
me, there's a lot that we haven't gone over, by the way. for those who are listening, there's so many like specifics of us going to events and just going through it all.
Yeah, we didn't talk about our SBO trips or anything like that.
Yeah, we hardly even talked about Japan. There's so much more, but future episodes for sure. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah.
Congrats again on your new home.
Thanks.
Be safe, and let's play soon.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
All right. So I guess that'll conclude episode 3 of Super Lore Boys. You guys can follow along on Twitch. I usually play Street Fighter 2, among many other games, including my newfound favorite, Street Fighter the movie, the game. There'll be a story for that at some point as well. And you can subscribe on YouTube and follow along there as well. So I guess until next time, be safe and peace out.
Later.